You are live on
live.
Channel 4. Do not
Whoa.
swear.
Whoa. Sincho.
Wow, he was eager already.
Sincho is ready. Ready, willing, and able.
Did you just say willing or willy?
However you want censor over that, you go right ahead.
That's what I thought I heard. I was like, hang on
you have been evicted from the Big Brother house. Please.
Yeah, I'm so glad someone got my reference there when I said that.
I've only seen the American Big Brother, and I don't think it's as good. But it's been like 10 years, so I have no idea.
Well, it has only just come back on ITV for some really strange reason.
2 weeks now, but it's not like it's on. I'm not going to lie. I've been watching. I never really watched it when it was on Channel 5. Loved the Channel 4 one, but it's weird. I am watching it, but the fact you can only watch it online because it is only on like ITV2 sometimes.
Oh yeah.
And the rest of the times it's online, so it's just like, well, I just watch it. I'm about 3 days behind, but weirdly, I'm into it this time round. I don't know why.
Fair enough.
Nothing against Channel 5, but you know.
Well,
but a lot of things against Channel 5 because most of what they shovel is terrible content, to be honest.
I've been watching Gotham on ITV, and I'm on the last season. It's great.
And yet here I am recommending good shows to you, and you carry on persisting on watching that.
What's wrong with Gotham?
Exactly.
I'm taking the piss more than anything.
But it keeps advertising Big Brother.
It's all right.
Look, I know, but look, when you keep recommending One Piece on Netflix, it's like, come on, just watch it because it's good. It's only an episode. Go back to Gotham afterwards.
But I also want to watch Interview with Vampire, so.
Of course you do. I can see that one being next. One Piece is going to seriously just going to get ignored completely until I turn around and go, hurry up and watch it.
Seeing as they're raising the prices for the subscription again for Netflix.
I won't be having Netflix soon enough. I mean, they already raised the price for Disney Plus as well, and I'm like, ooh, no, not anymore.
The thing that I don't get is, greed. First of all, I don't get greed. But second of all, if we know that it's about to come out what I am. The working class.
Here we go. Here comes the word socialism.
The working class, though.
Get out your bingo cards. Here we go.
I mean, we're very bordering on communism here. The proletariat.
Okay, let's do that. No, I'm kidding. But for real,
I mean, who would have thought it? An American communist.
Why do you think I live over here? And
No, Mike, no. Socialist, not communist.
Yes.
There
is a difference. There is a difference.
Democratic socialist.
But no, for real, why would you squeeze the working class? Give them, they'll spend more money if it's in smaller increments and they can afford it. Why?
But I cannot disagree with it. That's the problem.
See, I know.
I just disagree with most ideologies that have ism at the end of it.
Oh, all of them do. Oh, goodness.
Thank you. Thank you, Kylie. That was the joke.
Oh, I haven't started drinking yet. I don't get jokes until I start drinking.
Nana to put. I mean, still cheaper than cable at this point. Plus, I can watch anime and J-dramas that I want to. Yeah, agreed.
Well, there you go.
And One Piece.
Well, if you want anime, Crunchyroll.
Yeah, it's Crunchyroll.
That is true, and it probably is cheap. Although there's a free option.
I think you have to watch ads.
There is.
Yeah, I'll gladly take the same ad on loop repeat for about 4 times. Because that was always the worst thing about Crunchyroll when I had it.
That's how it is on ITV. I keep getting an American commercial of "Come visit America." It's where it's at.
Really hitting their target demographic there with you.
Yeah.
American citizen who left America.
Yeah. For political persecution. I'm kidding.
Oh, for God's
I'm kidding.
Is this the way this show is going to go?
Kylie,
we miss you.
Kylie, it's okay. It was never proved. So you're fine.
See, that's right. It's never proven. They got nothing on me.
I'm pretty sure the charges
Make
are
sure
still
you don't
pending.
keep any naughty documents in your boot of your car.
Oh, I forgot. I gotta get rid of those.
Also burn your hard drive.
I already did. Why do you think? Why do you think the quality's so bad to upload?
Oh yeah, good point.
Burn off the reading.
You had to get rid of that fancy SSD and replace it with a HDD.
Yeah, there you go. Oh gosh, I really do. I've got to upgrade this thing.
Oh, we know. We know.
It's bad.
I mean, the fact that we're looking into other options just to save your computer is bad enough.
Wow.
It's bad. Yeah. I can play Baldur's Gate,
I get a
though.
feeling this episode is going to have a lot of antics.
It's going to be our top viewed, highest selling episode.
High selling?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, this is behind the paywall.
They're putting up the price by £1 each month.
Yeah,
that's what they do.
I mean,
That's right.
I mean, considering we've done 180 something episodes so far for free, I think it's only reasonable, isn't it?
We've been secretly siphoning off of all of our viewers.
I mean, I'm pretty sure the case was that we were spending money rather than making it.
Oh my gosh, we do. We
For a long time we were.
Yeah. Woohoo!
I know that feeling.
The bromance continues.
Aw, I'm telling you, you two are.
I can't see the chat. Who's there?
It was Cincho.
It was Cincho.
Your bro, Cincho.
Hey, bro.
Yeah, that's why I said the bromance continues because he put Mike
Yo.
Rock and Circle Hulk came there as well. Thank you. He just said, stopping in quick to say hi to all and long time no see. Been dealing with a small heart attack thing, but on the mend. We'll be catching more of your shows live in the near future. Missed you all so much.
Legit.
Get well soon, my friend.
And I legit was actually thinking about you just last week.
We
hadn't seen you. Yeah. Oh, that's so. Yeah. No, that's great. You're on the mend.
Please be on the mend. Stay well. Stay good. We will catch you when you're good and ready to come back. Right, I've got to do all my checks, guys. This has been such an engaging conversation already.
But you haven't even done your checks.
No, none of them.
Bueno!
I want to bring up something which I've only just realised. Did anyone actually realise it was TwitchCon Vegas this weekend? Because I've only just seen the thing come up and it's the first day.
I did, only because they've changed TOS. They put an update out about changes to TOS that you can now restream on multiple platforms.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that they've clearly seen that Kick is a problem, and they need to integrate a little bit more to avoid the problem.
Wow.
And they kick it to the curb.
There you go.
Oh god.
Hey.
I mean, considering that, who is it? Is it 777 Stakes? I think it is that own Kick. They're the ones that were supposed to be buying Everton Football Club that didn't happen. They have got a lot of money behind them, clearly, so it's like, oh, right. Ah, howdy, Jack.
Jack, hey!
Turn of the banjo shirt.
Who is this random person in the chat called Middle-Aged Gamer Guy UK?
Before you were near the middle-aged gamer Guy Uke, which is what all Americans
Uke.
Oh, nice to see that your chat's coming through. Howdy, Dan.
Yeah, all right, Dan.
Hey, bro. I can see the chat now. I've got it on Twitch.
Good.
Jack,
I'm doing all right, Jack.
Every
Thank
time.
you. Hope you're good. Right. Sorry, guys.
It's going to be
not
chaos.
to be distracted
but
here.
It's going to be controlled chaos, which is the best chaos, in my opinion.
I mean,
we're going to try.
Everyone wants this show to be all about EGX, and we probably won't talk about it.
No.
Probably not, no.
This tends to be tangent. We're going to be going on tangents all over the place.
Welcome to Tangent City.
Tangent time.
We need that jingle. We need a jingle. Yeah.
It's tangent time. There.
All right. How much are you going to charge us in royalties?
Only £1 a month for subscription.
Jack, can you let us know if our sound is coming through okay? It sounds good to me, but
Goodsy.
I'm only listening via a phone speaker, so you know.
Well, chat, definitely let us know. Oh, okay.
Thanks, Jack.
Thank
you, Jack.
Thank you.
And also thank you for the sub or the follow as well that happened whilst we were offline. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Who was it that followed?
Jack Tendo 92.
Oh. It's not on my thingy. I'm sorry. I would have thought you. I would have thonked you.
Well, it wasn't a sub. It was just a follow anyway.
Yeah, but
still.
I
thought you had a sub come through while we were live.
We did. It was Sencho.
We got
Oh, okay.
Sincho. So
Cool.
woo!
That reminds me, I have to renew my sub, I think, as well. So I shall do that possibly after the show. I don't
I'm
think I
not.
can do
I'm
it.
not. Twitch, just in case you do see this, you know, I'm not money laundering by any chance, but I probably should do my sub too.
Oh, cause yeah. But Pete, you know you're allowed to sub to yourself.
I mean, I get a free Amazon Prime sub every month, so I probably should use it.
Same here. I mean, to be fair,
Uh-huh.
Free
hell's
£2.50
done it.
ain't bad, is it? You can't really knock it.
I mean, I pay
Oh.
£95 a year for Amazon Prime. What's £2.50 a month?
There you go. To sub to
There you go.
yourself.
It makes it a little bit easier to swallow, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's what she said.
Hey.
Boom.
Oi.
First one of the night.
Well, you got one off air, to be fair, but you know.
Yeah, Pete said.
Don't worry, got plenty more lined up.
Yeah, 1 out of 1. Well done. Yeah, 1 for 1. Very good.
Oh, and I'm only one glass in. I better slow down.
You're 1 for 1 then on all things.
As she says, well, nothing. I bet.
Yep. I gotta get the last drop. That's what she said. Okay.
You're just milking it now.
I'm gonna let that one hang in the air.
I know.
Kiley is on fire tonight.
Wait, am I? No. Yeah. So a few more
I shall
minutes.
be back momentarily. 2 secs.
More than I've had in 10 years. So we're gonna let.
What are these custom emotes? I'm loving them.
I know they're amazing. Sincho, how did you get those? Is that from us? I don't actually know. Always. Chat, I'm giving you more time, mostly because Pete's checking the volumes, but also you got a few more minutes. It's from Jesse Cox's channel. Nana! Yay! Nana cheer!
She's on a roll.
Yeah!
Thank you, Nana.
Yeah!
We haven't had any bits since you last posted bits to us. That's cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I love.
I don't even know how to do them bits.
Yeah, I forget that they're even a thing.
I mean, you know I want to say it. You know I do.
I mean, you can, but it's just going to devolve into every 2 minutes of you saying it if you do.
Well, I could also just say I often forget about my bits.
That's what he said?
Yeah. That's what he said when he said Fanny. It's not funny. I nearly said it's not Fanny then. That was terrible. But there you go.
It's all right. In America, you know, that's known as a bum, so it's cool.
Not so bad.
Even your fanny.
Yeah, it was like it was a culture shock when I got over here because I was so used to everyone saying "sit on your fanny," and then it was like, and then bum bags.
That has whole new meaning over here, I'm afraid.
And they call them bum bags, and I just like busted out laughing. And they were like, "Yeah, it's bum bag."
I mean, even though a bum bag like doesn't sit on the back,
No,
which is weird.
No, it's a fanny pack.
Fanny pack's more accurate.
It doesn't go on an
It is,
American
actually.
fanny either.
Welcome everyone. This is the kind of show we're going to have today.
It makes sense in England to call it a fanny pack because you wear it on the front, but we call it a bum bag and you wear it. I don't know. Yeah. Moving on.
It's never going to catch on if you called it a beer belly bag, was it? So that's fine.
It's because most people's beer bellies is a bag.
I'll just throw my wallet in there.
Well, you've seen those people who hang them off like glasses off their belly, didn't they?
Yeah.
Oh, true.
Oh my god.
That's the ultimate gaming position, isn't it? Controller in hand.
Man loses 2 controllers in 2 months. Hasn't found them since. Go on.
No, I have to think about.
It may have accidentally got folded into something. Put the controller down, Kylie. We don't need it.
No, that controller never leaves my hands. Anyway, so Who needs a kickstand on a Switch? That's what the beer relay's for.
Damn straight.
Hey.
Oh my goodness.
Right, shall we get this absolute mess on the show?
Let's get it started. Yeah.
Let's get it started in here. All right.
And as we always say, not the original words. I like the original words. I think it makes sense, but
it makes a lot more sense than let's get it started.
Yeah.
In here.
But
did you hear they tried to cancel will.i.am for that?
Oh, wow.
Did they?
And he's too massive to be cancelled.
Yeah. Too big to fail.
That's what she said.
Mags is
you
one
miss
for
100.
one now.
Maybe you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Exactly. Okay, let's see.
Slow down, Kiley. We haven't even started.
I know. I've got to chill.
Otherwise, it's just going to be you being a dribbling mess later.
Is that such a bad thing? I don't think so. Anyway.
No, we need coherent Kiley to close a show, not the comatose one.
Hey.
Or at least to start it.
Yeah, I'm probably thinking a bit too far ahead.
Yeah, that's true. That's the way in the future.
All right, let's take it 10 minutes at a time at this rate.
That's what she said. But
I just speak life a quarter mile at a time.
I don't think Ashley Tisdale. I was thinking more Limp Bizkit. It's all about the he said, she said. Yeah,
it's all about the nookie. What the nookie? What? You can take it as cookie and shove it up your butt.
I mean, the fact of the matter is that their third album is clearly an analogy for an arsehole.
What? Chocolate starfish and hot dog. What's the hot dog water then? Oh, I don't want to know. I take it back. I don't want to know.
I think you know exactly what it is.
There's stuff about the male body parts that I don't know.
Well, no, I'm not going there. Let's start the show.
Okay.
Right, I shall.
Right?
182.
Okay.
Now let's just put the theme of this pre-show. Horny.
That's every show now.
That's pretty much every show, yeah. This right. And Sencho put foreplay, the pre-show. I'm not saying anything about pre-anything.
I'm pretty sure there's a song, I can't remember the artist, but I'm pretty sure the lyrics go, I'm horny, horny.
Oh, that's
everyone knows that song, yeah.
Wait, okay, tangent time. Hold on, wait. Okay.
All right, let's not record yet, shall we?
No, for real. When I was a teenager, so I was not allowed to watch South Park because I come from a religious household. So I went and I got they had a soundtrack out, and that song was on it. And to me, I was just like, oh my gosh, I've never heard anything like that. And then I come here, and they just played it at the gym while we were working out, and I was just like, what? Like, I started giggling while I was lifting weights.
Well, there you go. Real motivation to get in shape.
Yeah, I was like...
Gotta get that sexy bod going.
Yeah, it's like, okay, we're jumping rope. I'm like, I guess so, yeah. Anyway, and then another song, which was like I said, I've come from a religious background, so all we were allowed to listen to was Christian music. And there was this song that was like, take the shackles off my feet so I can dance. I just want to praise you. It's like a huge Christian song over there. I come here and it's like a song, like it's on your charts. Like people were like singing it in clubs and drinking to it. And I was like, what? So
thanks. Thanks for stopping by, Dan. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Hope little one gets to sleep soon.
Yes. Oh yeah. Okay.
Right. I am recording. 182.
Okay. I'm gonna totally remember this.
You've got it.
We'll see.
I see Mags is really optimistic. Okay. Right.
I've got my toes crossed for good pleasure.
Cool.
I need all the luck I can get.
This is not fingers crossed. This is me counting down. So 3.
Welcome to Rapid Reviews Radio podcast episode 182. Holy crap, we've got a great episode for you, and the electricity in the studio is electric tonight.
Just don't comment about how all 4 walls are different coloured.
Nobody knows. We're just in 4 different sections of the studio. People don't know. If you can't tell,
it is. Mag's got the better part of the studio.
I know exactly. It's all nice and yeah. I'm in a basement. I'm totally not being held hostage against my will. But if you can't tell, we do have 2 very, very special guests, returning guests, both of them actually, friends of the show at this point. But actually, I should probably introduce myself first. I always forget. Okay, so I'm Kiley Wilde. I'm co-host. I'm joined by my ever-present co-host, Pete Beckett. Say hi, Pete.
Hi, Pete.
Okay. But I'm joined by 2 very special guests. Miketendo, friend of the show.
Actual friend of the show,
Good
yes.
evening. Well, we're all friends of the show at this point.
Exactly.
Very true.
And Mag, he is here too. I was gonna say the whole thing. I just said Mag.
I don't mind. I don't mind.
That is fine. New friend of the show.
No, I'm also pretend friend of the show because Mike's the official friend of the show, so I'm the pretend friend of the show.
Oh no pretend.
There's more than enough room for one friend of the show.
That's what
you could be the new friend. Yes. We're all awkward here.
Yeah, so if you can tell, it is very eclectic. No, electric. Oh my gosh, I've only had 2 glasses. Chat is come out and they're supporting us, and I love you guys. And I do want to say a thank you to everyone who downloaded, listened, watched everything last week, because we've been having some lean weeks, and that does happen sometimes. And then last week you guys came through, so that always helps.
Thank you so much. It was very nice of you to do so, especially because Simran is a great guy, and we wanted to plug format a little bit more before its official event next week.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So yeah, keep listening, keep sharing.
Absolutely. Because I'm so there next year. Like, that's just.
I really wanted to be there next week, but I just couldn't make it.
Dark
really
rooms,
couldn't.
Music. What more can you ask for? So we're gonna swiftly move on, and we're actually talking EGX. Which, as you know, we always do an EGX show. Yay! Everybody looked like they were on roller coasters for a second. That was actually really cool.
This is just to just to fulfill my purpose to ensure that I get a press pass again.
Oh, come on. You gotta come check out the antics, the visual antics over at twitch.tv/rapid reviews. If you're just listening, you need to come see it because it's cool. But because we're talking EGX, we talk it every year. And we're gonna talk it again this year. Woohoo! But that means I'm gonna let Pete give us a little background on what EGX is, just a little information, and then we'll move on to the meat of the story. And I'm gonna let that also just linger in the air. Pete, why don't you fill us in on a little bit about what EGX is?
That's what she said. Anyway, EGX, the regular UK gaming convention show that's usually hosted over 4 days at the EXL in London. This time it was hosted from the 12th to the 15th of October, so last week. It was a 4-day spectacle as per usual, with a few big games, quite a lot of indie games, and quite a few talks. So 3 of us went. Kiley unfortunately wasn't able to make it, but hopefully next year she will be able to experience it firsthand.
More than 3 of us went.
So
yes, there was more than 3 people in attendance.
Yes. So yeah, the three of us that did go, Mike, myself, and Mags, we all did very, very different things whilst we were there, and at some occasions our paths did actually cross too. So we can talk about that a little bit more. Oh well, actually, I might as well start it now. The Sunday was the weirdest one, where I'm just walking through the line and Mags is right behind me. I'm like, what? There you are. Cool. So yeah, but other than that, there was a lot. There was a lot there. There might have not been a lot there as well. Let's talk. We can talk more about that, obviously.
Yeah,
so
we're gonna do
now
a deep dive.
Oh, yes, we will. So, Kylie, I'm going to kick it back to you because you have questions as someone who wasn't in attendance.
Old school. Yes. So, first and foremost, who was there? Was anyone there the whole time? Mags was. Okay. Oh, yeah.
wrong side, my friend. Wrong side.
Yeah, I've got it mirrored. This is my better side, so I have it mirrored.
In my defense, I'm in the top right corner on my screen.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Okay. Right,
on my screen, he's above me. So that guy right there, if you can see the right one.
Oh gosh.
Okay. I don't know.
Well, on my screen, you're below me, so you're saying the guy up there. That's.
Oh my gosh. Just please head over to twitch.tv.
I feel like I'm on the airplane again. All the exits down on the side to the.
Okay. Yes. So. But okay. So, Mag, this question's for you. So I'm assuming everyone just correct me when I am wrong. But I assume
you're wrong.
Yes, the chaos has already begun.
Yes. But you were there the first day, which was that Thursday or Friday?
It was Thursday, yeah.
It was Thursday.
Someone didn't listen to my introduction.
I tried. I did.
For some people, that's the third day.
So
Monday, one day, Tuesday, Wednesday, what day? Thursday, the third day.
Thursday.
First day of the event.
Yes, named after the god of thunder. Anyway, but Mac, when you got there, was there a lot? Was there a lot of people? Was there a long wait? Yeah. Short and sweet.
Okay, so Thursdays generally, so I've been doing this since 2016, right? And obviously, I'm going to state this now: the numbers have never come back since after COVID. The numbers have always been down. It generally used to be that Thursday was always your quietest day, Friday was fairly busy, and Saturday and Sunday would sell out. And I've seen in the last 3 years that it's now Thursday's your quietest day because a lot of the press and people go, which is quite a good day to go actually because you can get around pretty much everything. Friday now has become a slightly busier day than that. Saturday is normally a sellout, and it was a sellout this year.
Right.
Weirdly, Sunday was as quiet as Friday and got very quiet by midway through. So another thing is, I found this last year as well. There was a lot of games I didn't get round to playing because the queues were quite long last year, whereas I hardly queued this year, which is interesting. So if I'd missed anything, the Sunday I could have gone around on the afternoon and got round on everything else, which is what I did last year. But I didn't have to do that because I hardly had to queue for anything this year.
Right.
Yeah, funnily enough, that was my Sunday experience, actually.
Move aside, peasants. Mag is coming through. Move aside.
But it wasn't, the reason I said I wasn't having to queue is because I was punching everyone out of the way as I was going to the game. No, I wasn't. Generally, to put it in context, I arrived in London at 9:30, parked the car at the hotel, walked to the centre, got breakfast, walked straight in at 10 o'clock because I had the 4-day thing, walked straight to the Sonic the Hedgehog stand, which Mike is very kindly showing whichever way it is on that screen. And queued less than 5 minutes, played that and went straight over to the Mario stand, played Mario with no queue. But if you went on the Saturday, I know there was queues up to an hour and a half for each of those games. But I think the longest I queued was for, I think on the Saturday I actually did go and play Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, and I stupidly left it till the Saturday to play it, and I waited 40 minutes.
Oh wow! Wow,
that was the longest I queued for anything.
Yeah, that's not bad in the grand scheme. That's not bad.
Seen as if you went back to 2019, no, 2018 at the NEC, I queued to play a demo of Division 2 for 2.5 hours.
Right. Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
I remember queuing for quite a long period of time in 2018, I believe it was, maybe even before that, to play Smash Brothers. So that was a long time.
Yeah.
So do you think then, is it a better queuing system that they set up, or was it lower numbers?
It's lower numbers, clearly.
Yeah.
I think it probably is. I'm not going to disagree there. But I'd say the longest queue that I saw with my time, especially with the fact that my first day was the Saturday, was probably the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 queue.
Yeah, I mean, that's always popular anyway. But even then last year, it was weird. They didn't open that until the Thursday night last year, which really put people off on the Thursday. But then the queues on the Friday and Saturday were shocking. So last year on the Sunday, I basically queued, but I only queued for 20 minutes because obviously it died down. This year, I decided to go straight there at 10 o'clock in the morning on the Friday and queued for 10 minutes and got in. But then, if you'd left it by an hour, the queue was already up to an hour and a half. So you had to be quick to get in for COD. So that's always popular.
Yeah, it was quite. I would say it was quite a similar thing for Mario Wonder for me on the Saturday actually, because I was quite far in the queue actually to get into the event, and I made my way straight over there, and I literally had a 10-minute wait. Whereas if I would have gone an hour later, it was about an hour long.
That's crazy. Okay.
I think in their defense for Nintendo anyway, they did have a lot of demo booths set up just for Super Mario. They didn't have any other games playable there. So basically, they could let in like 20 people at a time because I think there's probably around about that many demo booths. So I don't think there was much wait as for like other games that probably only had like 10 demo booths and a queue of, 100.
That's actually true, yeah, because I think both Like a Dragons had 8 setups at a time, didn't they?
Yes.
Or 8 or 10 or something like that.
Sonic was about the same, and so was the 2 Persona games. So really, you're only looking at about 8 people at a time, or maybe 10 people at a time. Whereas Mario's, you say you could probably fit about 80 people every 20 minutes.
And I think the good thing with that is that they had some setups for single player and some for multiplayer. So if you obviously were on your own,
actually, which I thought was good because
did
have about 30 or 40 setups, but they were asking, right, who wants to be in a group of 4, who's doing solo, and they got it all set up, and everyone started at the same time. So in that respect, running that was those 2 stands were very well run, I have to say.
To be fair, Nintendo have always been very well organized when it comes to their stands, especially when it comes to like EGX and trade shows. It's usually decent.
Yeah, I even thought Sega's was very well run, to be honest. And I'm going to say this now: if it wasn't for Sega, there would be a big chunk of games missing from the show, because then your only other big name games were Mario, COD, and Prince of Persia. And I didn't bother with Prince of Persia because I'd already played that at WASD. So those were the only, and if you blinked, you missed the Prince of Persia stand.
Yeah, I forgot it was there actually.
Yeah, it was next to the family stand. So if you blinked, they had one pop-up banner and that was it. It was not branded at all.
Right.
Well,
Kylie, do you have any questions?
I have a million questions. Mike, before we go,
I'm a Scorpio. One less question.
But Mike, okay, so what day did you attend? Or date?
I attended the Saturday.
So Saturday, okay. So now we're on to Saturday.
That's the Saturday.
Your impressions of crowd size, because that's what we're really talking about right here. Before we move on to the actual, games and stuff like that. You've been before. So were we looking at an average Saturday crowd size, smaller, larger, that kind of thing?
I think now I've been going to EGX since 2019, so not as long as MAGGs, but then that's mainly because when my family moved back in 2018, then I had reason to go to the UK to actually, attend EGX. Obviously 2019 is probably the biggest it's ever been. I don't think it's quite reached those numbers since. But I think as compared to last year, possibly there was more people. I'd like to think there was more.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think back to last year, what games they actually had available, and it's just evading my memory. I mean, Nintendo had a stand there, but it wasn't actually Nintendo. I think it was Nintendo Play that had organised it to have like Splatoon and Mario Kart and stuff like that there.
They were basically, last year it was mainly pushing Splatoon 3, but that had already come out 2 weeks previous.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I mean, I have done that before because I've had a couple of games. I think that, like, I think it was 2019, they had Link's Awakening playable there, and
Yeah.
that was
Mhm.
already out at that time.
Right.
There was about 20 different games you could play on the 2019 stand. But
Yeah.
2019 was the first year that it moved away from Birmingham and came back to London after
Yeah.
about a 6 or 7 year stint.
Right.
So
Yep.
Well, Pete, okay, so Pete, you attended Sunday, I know for sure.
Saturday and Sunday.
Saturday and Sunday. So, kind of the same question tossed to you, which is size-wise. Did you notice a difference, or was it similar to the past years?
The Sunday was definitely a lot quieter this time around than it was in previous years. With exception to that, Saturday was probably the peak day, and it's probably around about, I would say, the average day on a Thursday and Friday 2019, like pre-pandemic.
Right.
Like, it was busy and it was really good. So when I was standing in the queue, actually, I kept looking around just before the doors opened, and I could barely see the back of the hall because there was so many people. It was
right.
It was nice to actually see that kind of level of people again, but it obviously then had to think about what I was going to do first and where I wanted to go. So pre-planning was essential.
Okay, well, so then my next question is actually to all three of you. We'll start with Mags. Do you feel that 3 days is too much, enough, too little? What do you think?
It depends, because I remember when I first started going to EGX, I'd only go for 1 day and try and cram in as much as possible. As things have changed, because obviously now what I do as a profession, I had many reasons to go for the 4 days. Now, I started attending for 4 days full after COVID. So 2021 was the first one. Now, bearing in mind that show was so bare bones.
Yes.
But
I remember the photos.
I'm not knocking them for that,
Right,
because that's
right.
understandable because of what it was, right?
Yes.
I still managed to get a good 4 days out of it.
Right.
Same with last year. I was there for 4 days, blah, blah, blah. This year was quite different because I felt that, yes, there were more AAA games there, but again, Sega saved that because they bought 5 of those games. The rezzed area was a lot smaller compared to last year.
Yeah, I want to talk about that.
Yeah. There was a lot of areas that were very empty, and traders areas. We'll go on to that. However, I still managed to fill 4 days because I had meetings with devs and had pre-arranged interviews. I had interviews that I was doing with press and other people, and then meeting up with other magazines and different friends on different days, and then just generally trying to fit in the seminars. And I had the content creator conference as well on the Friday. And just then kind of, it was weird that EGX, as in what you're actually supposed to do in EGX, kind of just dropped in the gaps. So really, if I didn't have all the stuff that was related to this, what I do, I probably could have done that all in a day.
Right. Okay. That's the question I'm asking. Is right there.
I think you make out of it what you want to get out of it, right? You want to literally play every single game and do every single thing you can probably stretch over 4 days. If I had some times where I wasn't doing anything, I was sitting around having a cup of tea or a beer or whatever, having a chinwag with people. But that does, and I met new people as well. So it does make it worth in that respect. So it's what you get out of it. I think what annoyed me was back in 2021, I did walk the whole thing in less than 10 minutes. And I'd gone straight in at 10 o'clock. And as I'd done the loop, 2 people were coming out and going, "We're leaving because this is rubbish." And I was like, wow, so you haven't actually bothered to queue for anything or try anything? And I thought that was a bit of a defeatist attitude.
Now,
you make of it what you will, really, to be honest.
when it came to 2021, I had a very surreal experience with that. I did explain it on the podcast. I will explain it to Mags because he doesn't know. Funnily enough, they gave me the wrong pass in 2021. They gave me an exhibitor's one.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I actually got to walk the floor at 9:30 before it even opened. So I did a video walking all the way around the floor, and I looked at it and I went, wow, this is quite empty.
Yeah.
How am I going to fit all of this in 4 days?
But let me just say, as a side note, that's one of our highest viewed videos on the site.
Yeah, because I filmed it. I then put it.
2021 EGX.
Yeah, I posted it on our drive for you to upload, and it was great because you could hear all the Street Fighter shout cards just going
ASMR.
absolutely mad. It was great.
there's no peak commentary. It's just ASMR through the whole thing.
Yep.
But Pete,
I didn't have my microphone with me, so I wasn't going to do running commentary through my phone speaker. That would have been terrible.
Pete, the eternal audio person. But Pete, I'll ask you, and then I'll ask the same to Mike, which is, do you feel that 3 days is enough, too much, too less?
Well, considering the event is 4 days, I still think that 3 days is probably still enough. But there was a lot more this year than there has been in a couple of the previous years, obviously. So, I'm not knocking 2021. 2021 was a good year anyway, regardless. It was a tough one. But this year there was a lot more on offer, but there was still quite a lot of empty spaces as well. And it's pretty evident that quite a few of the bigger companies, the AAA studios and that, are still not overly confident about taking games to trade shows anymore.
Yeah.
Probably because of the cost implication to do so.
Yeah.
I definitely want to discuss that. That is definitely a talking point we're gonna hit. But so Mike, same exact question. 3 days. Too much, too little, enough.
Right, well, I was only there for 1 day, and to be fair, if I could have squeezed in another day, I would have done, because
okay.
I think there was enough content there to go for at least a couple of days. I mean, my key reason of going was obviously to meet everybody up again as well, and hang out with my convention buddies, and to see the Banjo-Kazooie 25th anniversary panel. That was the main goal. I had to get there.
Yeah.
But obviously, waiting in the queue, I was in the queue for about half an hour, 40 minutes. I really wanted to make sure I got a front row seat to it. So I was right in the front of the queue with Barry Dunn of Impact Game Station. For a shout out. I don't know if he's watching or not, but give him a shout out anyway. And then obviously that panel was about an hour long itself. So that's already an hour and a half, an hour and 40 minutes taken away from, going to see other games and stuff like that. Now, I knew that there was Mario there and there was Sonic there. And I knew that I didn't have to really wait in queues to play them because I was going to pick them up anyway during this week, which obviously you can see I've got them here already, which we will talk about demos and stuff a little bit later.
Yes.
And I thought, well, there's no point me waiting about 20 minutes or an hour in a queue to play games that I'm eventually going to be playing anyway this week. So it was fun to see other people playing it and seeing other people enjoying themselves playing this game. And I thought, that's fantastic. I'll be able to have my time when I get home and, play it on my own and make less of a tit of myself. Pretty much like what I'm doing now, really, making a tit of myself. But anyway, moving on.
That's great radio.
Saturday last year was a lot bigger than this year.
Right, okay.
But I'll have to make
I wasn't there last year, so I can't say for sure.
No. So, as regards to what was there, I mean, the games, like Mag has said, Sega pretty much saved it because they did have Persona 3, Persona 5
Tactica.
Reload, isn't it? Then Tactica, that's it. I'm thinking Persona 4, but that wasn't there. That's the Reload. And then obviously Sonic Superstars and that as well. And I did want to play them as well, but then it came to a point where it was like mid-afternoon and like there was queues absolutely everywhere. And I thought, there's no way I'm going to be waiting for an hour. And I did have to leave relatively early as well because I went with my sister and her partner and some friends and they had dogs at home. So they had to get back.
Yes.
And as soon as I'm staying with them, it would have felt a bit off if, I just said, well, bye-bye, I'll catch you later. And it's like, go to the door and it's locked. Oh, no. I'm sorry, let me in. It's cold outside. No, my sister's cool. She wouldn't do that to me.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, you would have got more time in if you would have chose not to be the very front of the seating area for the banjo panel. But, 40 minutes in a queue for that was worth it.
That was why I was there. That's the whole reason flying all the way from Spain to the UK. That made EGX for me.
I mean, are you a banjo fan? I would never have guessed.
Oh yeah.
No.
So, okay, first sidetrack, which is FSA podcast. Hello!
And thank you for the follow.
Thank you very much. And then, okay, so my takeaway from you guys, what you're saying is that the biggest draw of EGX, and correct me again if I'm wrong, is it's the networking aspect. It's the social aspect. It's meeting people. It's meeting up with your people that, you know, you're like-minded. I was going to say gang. That's not the right word. Tribe.
Gang? Yeah.
I don't mind.
We like gang.
Well, I throw gang signs around, you know.
Peace. That's my peace, man.
I think that would.
Oh yeah, that's
what side is the best?
That's what we used to do.
West side.
West side. Oh yeah, gosh.
Wow, we are the whitest nerds on the planet. But so the social aspect, we kind of explored that last week with Simran. I'm so on board with that. That's why, like, Max streamed, I think, on Friday or Saturday. I can't remember.
From the bar on Friday.
Okay.
I did a live stream.
I went back and checked that stream out. That was fun.
Yeah.
Getting a pizza ordered to your table.
Yeah. And then random people walking past going, he's streaming. I was like, all right, come here and say hello.
I got up to that bit. I loved that. I thought it was hilarious.
That's my favorite thing in the world. And of course I knew some of the people that Max was with, and I was just like, I want to be there so bad. So for me, it's not so much the draw of the games themselves. Of course, I would enjoy the talks because I am a nerd. But that social connection, that's the word I'm looking for. And that's really the impression I'm getting from actually all three of you. But now we're going to move on to a small section where I will probably have a soapbox moment. But it will be brief, and then I will let all of you have a soapbox moment.
Oh, wow. You having a soapbox moment? That is rare for this show.
What? I know. But no, I believe it was on Sunday. I don't remember. I can't remember.
Oh, I think I know what you're going to be. Yeah,
and they were having one of their tournaments on.
Oh, yes. I know what you're going to talk about.
And look, I'm going to preface this. Guys who are people who listen to this show know I'm pretty staunch in my politics. I'm extremely left. I am a Trotskyist, yes. So that means I care about the environment. I care about social issues, all of those wonderful things.
So much for that non-political podcast.
I know. But I will preface it with, there is a time and there is a place. And this was not it. So for those who don't know, the protest group who actually annoyed
Just Stop Oil.
the F out of me, Just Stop Oil, invaded, because that's what they did, the stage during one of the tournaments, the Tekken tournament, if I believe
it was the final of the Tekken tournament.
And they attempted to do their usual thing, which is, throw paint around and spout nonsense. I would say nonsense. Like, again, I am an environmentalist and all this kind of stuff. You don't go. First of all, the gamers are the ones you want on your side. You know what I mean?
Yes, agreed.
Also,
considering that the vast majority of the people who made it there went on public transport on the DLR line, which is fully electric, is kind of absolutely asinine.
There's so much. And first of all, before I continue this, it's only going to be very short, and then I'm going to open the floor to everyone else. If you disagree with me, that's okay. I'm not judging you. It's open discussion. I'm just saying that this is my personal stance, which is that gamers it's the working class, hard workers. They've probably either saved up or it's costed a considerable amount to join the Tekken tournament. Not as well just the transportation to get to EGX. If you have to stay at a hotel, eating, all that kind of stuff. These are not the people you should be targeting. If you want to get your message across, you need to target the jerkwads. at the top.
It's always funny that they disrupt the general members of the public, not the actual people that they want to enact change and legislation.
Because
go and do it outside the bloody Houses of Parliament, you fools.
The arts are the wrong place. The arts are the bohemians that are on your side. Don't mess with the arts, because that's what I am.
Probably not anymore after this.
Well, that's what made me start switching. I was like, guys, this is the wrong. Nope. Anyway, I'm gonna get off my soapbox and let anyone who wants to talk about this and share their opinion. All opinions are accepted. They're all open. Pete has his hand raised. Pete, how do you feel about Just Stop Oil interrupting the Tekken tournament?
Annoyingly, I was actually sat watching some of the Tekken on the Sunday before I had to leave to make it back for a show that we were doing. Had I not agreed to do the show on Sunday, I probably would have still been there whilst it would have happened and would have seen it firsthand. Not to say that I would have done anything about it, but the thought of actually trying to rugby tackle one of them off the stage would have been quite appealing.
It goes through your head. Yeah, absolutely.
But also, the funny thing about it was that there was one person with a super soaker who tried to spray the screen in the back, but couldn't even make the screen. It was hilarious.
Oh my goodness. It was... No, I've said my piece.
It's so cringy, honestly. It was the worst thing I think I've ever seen. And I got home that night and I was like, oh, why? Why did you have to disrupt the fun of all those people there? Like you said, we're mostly on their side. We understand about environmental issues and all that, but they never do it in a they never do it in a place where it is going to enact any change. It's always the way to disrupt general members of the public you should have on your side. And they are going the wrong way about it. You can see those from all the videos that you see online. You know, they're disrupting general members of the public, you know, and the people are getting quite livid with their stick now. And yeah, I wasn't on their side as is anyway.
Yeah.
But let's be honest, I'm definitely not on their side now because they've interrupted a great tournament and they've had to stop that when the competition means everything to those people. It's £5,000, and it is if you saw it as well, they had a championship belt on order, on offer for it, and it looked incredible. But yet, you're interrupting a set of a prestigious final tournament, and the final tournament of the entirety of EGX, just to do that. But yet, you haven't thought of the implications behind it. Like you said, the cost implication, the fact that most people have all travelled there, probably in hybrid cars, electric cars.
Oh yeah.
Or have travelled on public transport, you know.
Which is encouraged, you know.
And how many of these things are actually, you know, contributing towards fossil fuels? I know their angle is they're saying that Shell have been involved in certain parts of the gaming industry. But let's be honest, let's be honest, that's to Epic Games. Not us.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That's
not
such
to EGX.
A tenuous hold at best.
It's so stupid. They do this because they want to capitalize on what is popular at the time, and it really felt like that. It was three people. They got ejected quite quickly, and that's how much just dumb.
Okay, so
I'll bring that up in a minute.
Okay.
Probably not quick enough, but they were.
Chat is really popping off, and I'm sorry we're not getting to all of you. We are going to, I promise.
Yeah.
But so chat wants to hear from our other panel members. Mike, do you have any? You do not have to share. You're not under any obligation. Do you have anything you want to share?
I mean, I can share something. I mean, maybe not as an opinion per se. I totally get it. I totally understand where, you know, all these activists are coming from a good place. But the problem is when they demonstrate it in this way, they do more damage to their own image than what they are trying to, you know, protect or preserve.
Yes.
So it's like when they were throwing paint at these works of art of artists that were, you know, back in the Renaissance era, right? They've got nothing to do with what's happening right now. And then, like, the thought that goes through my head is like, oh, stop oil and all that. And it's like, but did you just use oil-based paint or water-based paint when you threw that?
I mean, right?
Good point, yep.
You're not wrong.
And then that's made in a factory anyway. So you help pay for a factory that probably uses oils and, you know, fossil fuels to create that paint that you just threw on a painting of that some guy did back in 500 years ago that has nothing to do with what's going on right now. And then, like you said, like, you know, stopping and protesting in the middle of the tournament for Tekken, then you think, look, guys, I totally get where you're coming from, but this is not the place. And if you are trying to make an enemy of the public, all you're doing is making, them your enemy.
Yes.
So do you want to play the hero or are you the villain? Because that's all you're going to become is the villain. It doesn't, and then the companies will keep doing what they're doing because it's like, oh yeah, all the stick is on the protesters, and we'll just carry on fracking and destroying the environment every which way we feel like it. But that's okay because the public is against the protesters and not the company. So yeah, wild.
Okay, that brings us to Mag. Now, Mag.
The best till last.
No. But
plead the fifth if you want.
But here's the aspect that I want our listeners and our watchers to understand. Mag runs a con, Timeless. He's got to think about these things that we don't have to think about. He's got to think about this kind of stuff. Mag, what are your thoughts?
Because he doesn't want protesters going to his event.
Exactly. Who does? Although it does get you a lot of PR, but still, at what cost?
I'm going to cover 3 points here because this actually made my blood boil, right?
Yes.
So I didn't witness the whole thing, but I was there when it happened. Right. But I did see all the cheers when they were finally evicted. And I say finally because I'm going to bring up a point which is pretty bad. But I'm going to start from the first point. I know Pete said they come in with the paint gun and tried to shoot the big screen. Some of it did go on, but obviously it's a big screen. Thing is, that's a projector screen. Now, I've got a background in over 20 years of AV. I used to own an AV company. Getting that stuff off that screen is basically ruining that screen straight away. The fact they spread paint all over the monitors and the computers when they first walked on, making it impossible to play the final of the tournament. So that equipment is wrecked. If I was the guy from the AV company that was doing that, I would have taken them outside, poured petrol on them, and set them alight. Or taken a baseball bat to their heads because it's disrespectful. It's disrespectful not only to the tournament but the people who've supplied equipment because that equipment is not cheap. They've probably wrecked the PCs that were running the thing, and it was a big final. It was disrespectful to the people playing the tournament. Now they didn't have to actually pay to get into the tournament, but they probably spent months and months and months practicing, and it was a $5,000 prize on offer. So that meant a lot to those two people that were in the final, right? My problems with this, it's already been mentioned. One, was not the audience to do it for. Yeah. Completely the wrong audience. That so-called cause or whatever is frankly rubbish. I'm watching my language here because I've said a lot worse on the channel. And they could do pinpoint things a lot better. They're basically just got no common sense and they're a bunch of morons as far as I'm concerned. Because they're the same people who are going around smashing petrol pumps with hammers, which makes no sense whatsoever. And someone said about blocking roads when ambulances can't get through. So they clearly don't care about it. They only care about themselves. The next thing I'm going to say about this is the fact there is no thought put into this whatsoever. The World Wildlife Foundation had a stand, right? They were the only charity there this year. Normally there is 2 or 3 charities. As far as I'm aware, and if anyone knows differently, please correct me, but I believe that EGX gives up any spaces that have not been sold to the charities to use for the 4 days to make charity, so people can be aware of charities. I saw the comments and the backlash on Twitter because they were really proud of what they did, right, on Twitter, to which thousands and thousands of comments were basically saying, and after stuff I can't repeat, but saying that you alienated your audience. When you could have had a stand, given out flyers. Now, you may have only got a couple of 100 people interested out of thousands, but that's a couple 100 more than what you have done now, because now you've not only just alienated everyone that was at EGX, but also alienated anyone, friends of people at EGX, because they don't give 2 monkeys about your campaign now, right?
Yes, exactly.
And this, so they just totally missed the point. If they wanted to talk about it and make people aware, they should have had a stand and say, look, do you want to hear about us? People could have ignored them. People could have talked to them and found out and maybe support the cause in the right way of doing it, not in that way that they did. My third and final thing is, and I'm going to bring this up, this is more of a go at Excel and EGX, and not just about the protesters. The lack of security and how lapsed the security was at this event. Pete said...
I'm just going to stop you right there for 1 second, all right? to be fair, Jeff Kiley doesn't exactly have the best security either.
That's right. Right.
I get it. Right.
Right.
But I'm going to put this point of view. So obviously, the people that have jumped up on the things have stated when they've done Jeff Keighley's show how they planned it all, how they sat and waited for the moment to get up.
Yeah.
What's happened here is there's a whole lapse of security in EGX full stop. There was a whole incident on the Thursday that was witnessed in the main theatre that the security in the room did nothing about.
Are we talking about the panel?
Yes.
Okay,
right?
yeah.
Okay. And then people were threatened outside, still in the main EGX area, and it took other content creators to deal with it and not security.
Oh, I don't
On one of the nights, there was no one manning the main door because the security were playing the arcade machines next to me instead of doing their job.
That's not on. That is not on.
And as I pointed this out, and I've already sent this stuff back to EGX and XL, they open the doors at 10 o'clock for the early bird tickets, right? They do a bag check, right? But at 10:30, they open up the side doors.
Yeah.
Where if you've already got your pass, whether you've been there for 4 days or the 1 day, you could go out, swap your bag, put a gun, a knife, weapons, whatever, and walk straight back in, and they don't check your bags. That is how lapse of security is. And this is how these 3 bozos got in, because they had passes, but they must have just gone out of the exhibition area and walked straight back in, and this happened. And then it took them more than 10, 15 minutes to get these clowns off the stage.
Ridiculous.
The AV people managed to turn the lights off and get the thing, but it took them ages to get them out. By the time they got them out, the police had arrived, and they can't have been in a van. 15 minutes response time for some people that are at a door that are less than 30 seconds away. Not on. They need to sort it out. It's shocking.
Oh, yeah, the security, I will admit, I probably spoke a little bit too harsh, badly on that one. The security was very, very lax when I was there.
Too much.
It's always been the case that every time when they're at the XL Centre, like you said, they open up those side doors, don't they? And nobody checks anything. They barely even check your passes. You literally just go like that, and that's it.
They open the side doors at 10:30. General admittance it's not until 11 o'clock. So why do you open it half an hour before the main general public have come in?
Yeah, it was silly actually, and I think that is a huge thing that they do need to work on for next year, because the last few years
you might want to read that message.
I was gonna say that.
Yeah, I'm getting to. Okay. So Jack
Tendo,
Jack Tendo 92 in the chat just put, unfortunately, the company providing the security for the EGX event, the Stanbridge lot, they are awful at bag checks. They also make most of the numbers up with stewards rather than actual licensed SIA badge holders. So SIA badge holders are obviously people who have passed security checks and are able to actually do it. And even the ones who have badges, a lot of them aren't up to the standard and don't want to get involved. Yeah. I take it Jack works in security.
Jack tells from experience because he works in security.
Okay.
I think he did do a stint for Stanbridge at a time, and then he went to work on like the London Rail and stuff like that. He works on C2C at the moment. But I would say that if Jack was there at the event and worked that event, those people would not have been on the stage, because he would have happily just dropped kicked them there and then. That is the kind of person that Jack is. He would just barrel straight in there and then deal with the consequences afterwards. But those people would not have even made the stage.
The unfortunate side of that is that you know full well that if anyone did take matters into their own hands, despite the fact the security was lapsed, they would have got arrested rather than the actual protesters.
No, but I mean, if Jack was working the event as
of course,
Well,
I know what you meant there, Mike, but it is a point.
Well, it's good to know.
Oh no,
Mike,
no. I mean, anybody. Sorry, Kylie.
Oh, I was just gonna say it's good to know that there are security-minded people working security out there.
So what we were talking about actually, like previously with the incident that happened on Thursday, was that a bunch of people had gone up to a panel that was to do with women in video games and were shouting very misogynist, sort of horrible comments, and then they got confronted after the fact, and it just went to complete hell. I read that on Twitter on the Thursday night.
They just let it happen. They were standing in the room, they witnessed it, they stopped the panel and told the people to be quiet that were shouting the comments on 2 or 3 occasions, and they were still not ejected from the theatre. They basically let them stay there until the panel walked off, so that then those people could then confront them, which is shocking.
Hang
I
on.
did not
It
even
was in the
know.
theatre, the
It was
EGX
in the
theatre.
main
Oh,
theatre.
I thought it might have been one of the other talks elsewhere. No,
No.
if
I
that's in the
never
theatre,
even
that's
heard of
even
this.
more horrendous.
I've not even read about this yet.
I was sat there and watching the whole thing.
Damn.
Oh my gosh. I promise, gamers out there, us chicks are not a threat. I promise. That is massively disappointing to hear. Not that, you know, we don't want to come down too hard on EGX, but we are going to give you the unvarnished truth. These people were there. These 3 guys were there. They saw this with their own eyes.
And those horrible twats that were disrupted this panel that people had worked months on putting together. Because believe you me, a couple of years ago at EGX in Birmingham, I actually did a talk there, and it was one of the most nerve-wracking things that I've ever done. And it took me months to prepare for it, and even then I went off script. You can't prepare for some things like that. That's just ridiculous.
It's interesting hearing. I know this is a common thing, that I know there's a number of higher profile people and content creators and guest speakers that will take their own security to the and have them on, because it's, and I'm not look, I'm going to generalize this, right, because as you said, right, it happens at other events as well. It's not just gaming events, it happens at other events. But something needs to be done in general for the events industry. I don't want to go too far off on a tangent, but to make that better and make people more secure. So if people are having to feel that they have to bring their own security to an event,
right,
because they're feeling unsafe, that kind of speaks volumes, really, doesn't it?
I think it does very much.
Yeah.
You should.
I mean,
you should never. Well, I mean, I'm just imagining running an event and people feeling so unsafe from my event that they have to bring their own security. That would do something to me personally, the organizer. But I do. Go ahead.
I was going to say, what I would like to say is that the 4 people on the panel, especially one in particular, I'm gonna say a name. I don't know her personally, but I want to give her kudos, because it was Geeky Cassie, who's a great streamer that I'd seen previously before that. And something like that can be quite daunting in jail, and a lot of people, I think, won't get over that experience. But she was then on another panel on the Friday, as if nothing happened, and fair play to her. She was laughing and giggling and telling some great stories, and she was brilliant. And I really enjoyed listening to her on not only just the Thursday for what she had to say, but on the Friday, which was a completely different panel. And kudos to her for just going, not going to let it affect me, I'll crack on.
Oh, yes.
Best way to be, 100%. I know I'm not a big content creator or anything like that, but Jack, you've got a job for next year if you want it.
I do want to do a little shout out. Lord Carrot94 says, "Hi, security at EGX was shocking. They hardly checked bags.
It was really poor.
You just walked in. I'm very disappointed to hear that. I mean,
and even the bag checks, it literally was just like, open the bag, done, cool, see you later."
Saying about that, okay, hold on, right? Now, like I said, I went there with my sister, her boyfriend, their friend who is the manager at the store that they work at, and then another friend as well. Now, I went through, I've got my packed lunch in my bag, that's about it. Showed them, one of them just looked straight in and then like off the truck. I didn't have anything else in there, it wasn't weighty or anything. A friend of mine was going to stay, the manager, the friend of me, sister and her partner, he was going to stay off at a friend's house later that night and had brought a bottle of whiskey with him.
I see.
They stopped him immediately.
Oh, for whiskey.
They stopped him immediately. They looked in the bag, found it, right? And it's like, oh, you can't take that into the event. You're not allowed to bring alcohol and stuff like that into the event. It's like, oh, no, it's because I'm taking it to a friend's house after the event. It's like, well, what you can do is you can leave it here, sign a piece of paper, and then, pick it up on the way out. Unfortunately, he forgot to pick it up on the way out.
Oh, no!
They ended up with half a bottle of Gentleman Jack's whiskey or something like that.
Right? Someone had a good night.
Whiskey as well.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But he didn't help himself when he was wearing a top to ankle bomber jacket kind of thing, like a shotgun jacket, right? And a huge duffel bag. He was like a low budget Neo.
Probably not helping himself, let's be honest.
So it's like, I mean, he went there with the intention to buy as many Pokemon cards and merch that he possibly could. So, I can understand that. But it was just the aspect that he gave off, and somebody thought, something's a bit sus about this bloke. And on top of it, the bottle of whiskey as well, and it's like, yeah, we're having you.
Oh gosh.
So they did. Some of them do look. It wasn't all of them, but on the whole, it was generally poor.
Yeah, I agree. Shall we move on away from the controversy?
I was gonna say we are gonna switch gears. We're gonna Skitch. Hey, that was a game. Did y'all know that? That was a game. That was a Sega game. It's called Skitchin'.
I don't recall it.
Yes, you were on, I think, rollerblades, and you would catch the back of the cars. Oh, I love that game.
Oh, okay.
And when you'd start it up, it would go, Skitchin'! Yeah, so I had a Sega Genesis, if you couldn't tell, when I was growing up. But anyway, we're going to switch gears into more pleasant territory.
Can we talk about games that
That's what we're going to talk about, Pete. How'd you guess? And this time, we'll start with Pete, but we're just going to, everybody's going to get a chance. We're just going to unload on them games, boy.
That's what she said.
That's what she, wait, she shouldn't be
he, she.
Okay, yeah, that's more like it.
That's what they said.
Ah, God, yo, I'm so lonely. It's been 10 years. Anyway.
All right.
But Pete, we'll go ahead and we'll start with you this time. Games. Let's talk about games. All the games.
Okay, I played 6 or 7 games whilst I was there, so I can talk about one of them that I played, or 2 of them that I played on the Sunday, because they group very well together, I think. Right. And I know Mags can probably talk about these as well. Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, and Like a Dragon Gaiden, The Man Who Erased His Name.
Let me just say, Pete has been talking about those games since he played them. I'm just going to preface it with that. But go ahead, Pete.
I have since also downloaded Like a Dragon Ishin as well on Game Pass to be playing through there. So yeah.
I love the Like a Dragon series. It's such a good series.
Let's be honest as well. I also found an incredible synthwave remix of Bucka Matai as well, and I'll send it to you all.
Oh goodness.
So, oh my god. Which one should we start? I'm going to start with Infinite Wealth. Infinite Wealth
dive right in, Pete.
So, Infinite Wealth is the new game that is that has got the return of Kazuma Kiryu and the returning Ichiban in a party together where they end up in Hawaii. That's so somehow, some way. We don't know. Well, we do know because the trailers have given that away, but I won't go into that. If you want to find out, go and check it out for yourself. So essentially what happens is this game, the demo, it was about 20 minutes long. They kind of chuck you into the Hawaii aspect, you know. They give you a couple of things that you can do, and then they essentially go, here you go, have fun. It was great. So essentially, you had a couple of things that you could do. So you could go and play the main story and go and take down what was known as like a boss. So you could either mainline straight into that. Like a dragon, like a boss. Yeah. So you could either go and do that, or you could go and do a load of side activities. So what I did is I mainlined the story. I basically went straight to the boss and had a really, really good combat encounter with the main boss and a few thug enemies, let's say, around the area. And then because my time wasn't done, I got to explore and went to go and have a look at some of the customization options, which are also included as like armor and stuff like that. I didn't get a chance to do karaoke, even though I really wanted to, because I couldn't find it. I didn't get to find it in time, and as I did find it, my demo time was over, unfortunately. So the way it was set up actually was really good. So the booth that they had the Infinite Wealth booth here, like for those watching. They were right next to each other, but they were behind curtains, so you couldn't see anything or what anyone else was doing. So
that's nice.
They had 10 people at a time, all playing it at the same time. So whilst I was playing it, there was a couple of guys in there that I'd gotten speaking to in the line. So I kept checking out what they were doing. A couple of them were doing karaoke. A couple of them were just roaming around the city on segways. And it was... Honestly, I wasn't going to buy this game. I was probably going to wait and see, like, if it went down in price or if it came to Game Pass, because obviously
it is coming to Game Pass, by the way. They've stated that both any Like a Dragon games from now on are going to be
excellent. Nice. So I'm glad I didn't put money down on this then after the fact. So Yeah, this is about as mental as you can get when it comes to the Like a Dragon series. It is, I think, one of the best aspects about this actually is that they've really captured the greatness of what the original Like a Dragon or Yakuza games were, because the original 1 through 6 and 0 as well are very much brawlers. The Like a Dragon 7 or Yakuza Like a Dragon, as it was known over here before they changed the name, is a turn-based turn-based RPG. Now, how do you implement a brawler style within a turn-based RPG? Well, you have an RPG, but Kazuma Kiryu, who's the brawler, has multiple stances, and this was utterly incredible. It was one of the greatest aspects of it, is the fact that you could switch between his brawler style or his flare style. I can't remember what they call it in that, but you get multiple attacks, you get heat attacks and stuff like that. So they've really implemented a lot of the gameplay experiences that you had in 1 through 6 and 0, but they've kept it turn-based, so you can't obviously go completely mad with it. But I felt one of the best aspects about it actually was the fact that each character has an infinite meter, and it builds up over time. If you have two characters that have the infinite meter, then you could do a tag team move. But if 3 or more had it, then it was an ultimate tag team move, and they are completely insane, as per usual with the Like a Dragon series. There is so much seriousness with it, tinged with so much comedy, so much ridiculousness, and
that's what I love.
I was hyped for this game beforehand based on the trailers. Now that I've played it, day one purchase, unbelievable day one purchase.
So would you say that that's your highlight game of your?
Oh no, absolutely not, because Like a Dragon Gaiden was unfrickin' believable too.
I forgot.
So, shall I just crack into it, or Max, do you want to talk about Infinite Wealth as well?
Oh, I guess we could do that. Yeah, if you've all played the same game. Yeah, Max, what'd you think?
Stop hogging the microphone, Kate.
That's why I passed it over. That's what I said. Do you want to talk?
See, I'm a bit different to Pete because I thought the demo for Infinite Wealth was way better than the Infinite. Now, bearing in mind that Gaiden comes out next month and he's coming to Game Pass as well. I felt the demo for that one was a bit more because it chucked you into a casino, so you could play lots of gambling side games, or you could just then go and do like this battle arena brawl thing, which really, because there was no main story content, it didn't really give you any context of what the game was about. Whereas I think with Infinite Wealth, you got some cutscenes to set up a bit of context without spoiling anything. But then, as Pete said, you could go and do anything. Now, I did go and do the same main storyline as Pete did, but then I went and became a waiter at a restaurant and was doing these crazy food orders, and that's pretty much it. So that was good. But Gaiden was still good, but I, in my opinion, it was Infinite Wealth was a better demo than Gaiden. But that,
yeah, for story purposes, I agree that Infinite Wealth definitely sold it a bit more on what you're going to be doing in terms of the main story. I think for me, it was just I had more fun playing Gaiden because I sort of had no real expectations for it, and I wasn't sure I was even going to get it, and then I was just completely blown away by the combat style itself and then the changes that they'd made to the combat since, obviously, this is the first time you're seeing Kiryu again and playing as him again since 6.
I have to, first of all, agree with Sincho in the comments, which is, this reminds me we need a new Ninja Gaiden. Yes, we do! We need a new Ryu.
That is true.
But Mike, did you get to play any of these demos, particular ones?
No, so you can pass straight over onto the next game if you like. I think I didn't get to play any of these. I only played, to be fair, at EGX, I only played one game.
No, go ahead.
We may talk about it.
Well, go ahead. What did you play at EGX? And we'll talk about that.
I played, I think it's the latest Paw Patrol game.
Oh, God, yeah.
Gary made me play it.
Good on you.
Yeah, I saw you playing this, and I was supposed to play it myself.
Yeah, no, I mean, I love what Outright Games does anyway. You've, being able to bring these games for, younger audiences and stuff like that. Now, a lot of the games, obviously, they do not appeal to me personally. A lot of them are franchises of, cartoons and series that I've never even heard of because I'm that old. But so sometimes now, like I said, I'm not their key audience, and I have been invited to a lot of preview events for other games in the past, through Discord and stuff like that. And some games I've enjoyed, other games not so much. So they can be a bit hit and miss. But like I said, I'm not their key audience.
Right.
This latest one now, I can't even remember the full name of the Paw Patrol game, but it seemed interesting enough. You play as the different characters, whereas you got one dog which is like a police officer, the other is like a fire dog, for lack of a better word. So, and then you had to go around chasing cats, and I would like to say it's relatively open world, but I mean, it was a large city area, so you could go around collecting things and then do kind of like missions and stuff like that, save cats possibly, or chase cats, one of the two. So right, yeah, I didn't play it for long. Like I said, I only had a little bit of time to actually play games.
Well,
and Barry managed to say, "Hey, you got to play this game. It's absolutely great." Like, and it's like, that was a really poor impression of him, but still. You got to play this game, Mike. It's a great one.
Very good.
Mike, the Paw Patrol mega fan, has been exposed.
But okay, I was about to say, Mags, you go ahead. Yeah, because I know what you're going to say. I know exactly what you're going to say.
Big Jesse, who's in the chat, is actually in the office based next to Outright Games, ironically.
Okay.
Big chat. I've played quite a few of their games because, again, as Mike correctly says, it's for kids. Their games are geared towards kids. So I played the Peppa Pig game, I played Paw Patrol, etc. They did have 2 new games that were out literally last week after EGX. One being the new Grinch game, which I got to play, which was really, really good.
I've been hearing that.
Grinch, it was very, very good. And the other one was Transformers, which I didn't play, which got quite okay reviews when it came out last week. But I thought that was quite a nice little touch. The first time ever at EGX, they did a family zone where you could do arts and crafts. And they had Outright Games with a number of, not just their new stuff, but some old games and things. I think you could even play Peppa Pig. I'm sure there was.
Oh, goodness.
It was busy there for them. And
it was.
The PR company running the stand for them. And they'd had a really good weekend. So I thought that was a nice touch. So that gets a thumbs up.
Yeah.
Even if I'm not into those games, I thought it was good, nice to have.
I think.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, it's great that these franchises, for games, they have an audience. There are young children that enjoy them. It does get younger people into playing video games as well. And like, me and Pete, obviously, we grew up playing Mario, so Mario's always going to be for us. I mean, if they did a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles of the typical 80s, 90s kind, I'd be all for that as well. Obviously, there is, what I mean?
90s stuff.
There's obviously a new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, obviously, with the new film that's come out. So, that may not necessarily appeal to me personally, but I'm happy that there are games for other people that they will be able to enjoy and say, this is the game for me.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I did look at the game actually whilst Mike was playing it, and I did think to myself, this would be perfect for my nieces and nephew. They're around, one of them's 4, one of them's 7, and the other's 10. So it was like, that would be perfect for them. So that's why I was going to play it, but I saw Mike playing it and didn't feel the need. I had to play it. It looked decent enough, though. It honestly did look like...
It did, yeah.
It's sort of like one of those games like Lego City Undercover. It's perfect
I love Lego
for
City
kids.
Undercover. That's also perfect for adults.
That is probably the best kind of,
No, I'm not saying that... You know what I mean? It's like... It's the GTA for the younger audience.
Oh, it's so
sort of
good.
in that respect.
It's so good. The loading times are terrible, but it's so good.
Well, it was a Wii U game, remember that?
Exactly. And
we're talking about GTA, not Paw Patrol.
Or both.
I don't know what the loading times are. Maybe.
Lego City. It was so good. But
Lego City.
Yes.
That's the one that had the poor load times. Lego City. Anybody hearing this?
Yes, it was terrible loading times, but it was a fun game. So much potential wasted. But I do like what Sincho said, which is the in-game currency for Paw Patrol called Dogecoin.
I saw that and I tried not to laugh, but I laughed.
But So let's go on to more demos. Mag, what else did you play?
Oh God! Right, so I've got a long list, so I'm going to blast through.
That's what she said. Anyway.
Right, yay! Obviously, I covered all the main. There was 7 main games, AAA. So Prince of Persia, as I said, didn't bother with because played it at WASD, but I really did like that, and I'm looking forward to that in January.
Now it annoys me because I was quite excited about that game getting announced, and I completely forgot it was there and should have played it.
Oh,
yeah, again, poor advertising on the stand. You blink, you miss it.
Yeah.
Obviously, we talked about the 2 Like a Dragon games. Great. The new Sonic game, great. Got to play both demos because there was 2 lots of demos, but you could only do one at a time.
Yes, that's right.
So I played it on the first day. On the Thursday, and went back on the Sunday and played the other demo. Loved it. Mario.
Can I stop you there though? Because I wanted to talk about Sonic a little bit.
Okay.
I wasn't blown away by it.
Really?
No. Now I was saying this to Kiley off air. I was a little disappointed with it actually. It felt nice to play, but it felt cheap.
That's exactly
like
what
for a £50 game. It felt kind of cheap to me because they were reusing a lot of assets, including the music, the sound effects, the cues. Don't get me wrong, the level design was incredible, was really, really good for it, especially on the level that I played, which turns out is actually the first world of the game.
Right.
I did like that aspect, and some of the stuff that they did do with it, like changing the Chaos Emeralds into actual having powers, I thought was really cool. But I just don't see this being a £50 game. That was the problem that I had with it. It was like, I could see this being a £30, £40 game, and I'd be quite content with it. But at a full price, maybe not.
I think the problem was, didn't this come up that what's annoyed people is that you could get it cheaper on Xbox than any other console, but then PC players had to pay £10 more than PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
This is what I had to get a copy. I couldn't get a free copy, but my copy I only had to pay 25 quid for.
Wow. Okay, that's really, really strange actually, because I was looking at the PC prices for it, and they were expensive.
Yeah, PC's astronomical, and that is a bad thing that they've done that.
Yeah.
So I get that, and obviously the reviews came out last week because it landed Tuesday last week.
Which is why Mike has the copy available.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gonna sneak my.
Mine only cost me about €51, so we're talking about £48, I think.
That's not bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a full price game for something that we probably could have afforded with being a cheaper price game, like kind of like Sonic Mania.
I mean, the problem with demos is they don't always represent the full game as well. So, I mean, I don't know how many of the levels there were in the actual game, but there are like 3 different storylines or something to it, and then you can also create your own character. Then there's the battle mode and other stuff as well. So there is a bit more content to it, but because they don't advertise or announce that, you know, there is actually more content to it, people just look at it and think, okay, so it's, you know, run from A to B, pretty much like every other game, and then, you know, oh, we've lost people. Come back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think this was supposed to be the game that did bring people back, is my understanding. Because let's face it, 3D Sonic has never been. I mean, I'm probably speaking out of turn here, but 3D Sonic has never worked. Not for me.
No, I mean, even with Frontiers last year, that was a perfectly decent game, but it didn't light anyone's. I think the problem is, look, I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the demos that I played, and I'm probably going to enjoy playing this tomorrow. But like people have said, it's not hit the heights of Sonic Mania, which was a game created by fans.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And so what this felt like to me is
a lower level version of it, but it's still decent.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, there wasn't anything inherently wrong with it. It just didn't feel like a full price game to me. And considering that they've got the main Sonic team on this one, it didn't feel like a Sonic team game. It felt like a repurposing of the fan made Sonic Mania game to certain degrees.
Did y'all know there's a Sonic game on Steam where you can get Sonic pregnant?
Oh, for God's sakes. Because of course someone made that out of a Sonic game.
I want to know then, who's the other offending party that caused that to happen?
I mean, That's a good question because I don't actually remember that part in the trailer.
I blame Knuckles.
Probably
It's either Knuckles or Amy, isn't it? It's got to be one of the two.
Are you
Senko
sure
wants to
this
know
is
what the game
Steam and
name
it's
is.
not just Rule 34?
Oh wait, that was my fan fiction, Mike. Oops.
Brilliant. Excellent.
My Sonic X. Oh.
Yeah. So sorry,
Sonic
Max.
Triple
Carry on with the
X.
games that you did play because I just want to
Yes.
step in and talk about that one.
Sorry. Yes, do that.
Yeah. Persona 3 Reload. I'm not a big Persona fan. Sorry, folks. I know there's loads of people out there. Never been a fan, but I did enjoy my time with that game, and it's got me intrigued for when it comes out in February. I say Persona 5 Tactica. Obviously, that wasn't as busy as Persona 3 because some of the Persona fans don't see the Tactica series as because it's a turn-based shooter, so it's like Rabbids and Sparks of Hope and that. I enjoyed that more personally, and that's out next month. So, and that's on Game Pass. It's funny, nearly all the games apart from Sonic on the Sega stand, they're all coming to Game Pass except Sonic, which might turn up in 12 months' time, let's say. But so I enjoyed them. COD was fine. It was COD. It was 20 minutes of going in and playing a couple of maps, and that was it. Fine. It's the same every year in terms of what they showcase at the show. Not what I'm saying with the game, but I'm not a massive COD fan, but I always go in to check it out. Played well. Bit weird. Wasn't used to playing it on PC because you could only play it on PC, but it was cool. Forza was there, bearing in mind the game had come out 2 days prior. But the only good thing about the new Forza Motorsport is you actually got to sit in driving seats with a proper driving wheel.
That was awesome, yeah.
And that was good fun. And I've since played that and streamed that, and that is an excellent game. And I can see why it's been getting the scores it has. In terms of the indie game area, obviously I talked about the stuff on the outright games, but a couple of games that stood out, and then there's a couple of games I'll give shout outs because again I've already played them at other gaming shows. But Billy Bust Up. It's this cool cartoony game where you play the level. It's got this Crash Bandicoot vibes because you're running away from the enemy, but it bursts into song.
Oh, I like that.
The lyrics, the things are coming to kill you.
Oh, that's cool.
Now, whether that can stay its welcome, I don't know, but that demo was great.
That sounds incredible.
Let's have a look what else because I've had to tag it on the app. Deceit 2. Very much a horror game. You're in a play against 8 people. It's got Dead by Daylight vibes, but it's the fact that there's no overall arching enemy. It's almost like Cluedo. One person is the murderer, and you've got to sort it out. But then all these horrible and weird things come and get you, and other monsters can get you.
Oh, that was the game you recommended me to play. I just didn't get around to playing it, unfortunately.
It seemed good. I got to play it on the Sunday. It seemed pretty good. Full Void, I didn't play, but I played before. Made by the team from Out of a Bit. Great, very much like Another World flashback. Great horror vibes, but family-friendly horror. I'm going to say, but they've done a great job.
This gave me like Metroid Dread vibes a little bit. Full Void. Yeah. I played that at WAS back in March.
Yeah. So they were there. I think they've been pushing it up because it's just about to come out because they were at WAS in September as well. But yeah, great. And kudos to the team Out for a bit for that. Gory Cuddly Carnage again was at that show. Played as a cat on a skateboard where you decapitate other things. It's brilliant. It's gory. It's hilarious. It's funny. Look out for that when it comes out next year. Let's blast through. What else we got? Lodalnaut, really cute game underwater about, ironically, clearing oil away from the sea and stuff.
Oh,
there you go.
That's quite.
Yeah.
Maybe they should have attended that stand and found that game.
Great little puzzle game. Great family-friendly game. Definitely check it out. Make Way comes out next month, coming to Game Pass. It's like a Micro Machines racer, but the spin on it is each player in turn gets to build the next section of the track to try and knock off the things. So you don't just race, you build the track as you go.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I did see that one being played as well. It looked really cool.
I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe that one of the developers of the original like Micro Machines actually worked on this game as well. I think.
I did not know that.
I think there was something.
That would explain the influence.
So much. I played that
I'm
so
pretty
much.
sure the development team that was behind the Micro Machines, I believe like there's one or two that was actually behind Make Way.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
I may be wrong on that. I'm pretty sure I heard that.
Well, if they are, kudos, because that's going to be brilliant. So look out for that. That's going to hit Game Pass next month, we've been told.
Nice. I'm straight on that one then.
Power Wash were at WASD with the Back to the Future DLC, but they only had one level at WASD. At EGX, you could do the car, the clock tower, and Brown's van. No. So they were showcasing 3 out of the 5 levels, which was really cool.
Nice.
So that was worth jumping back on. A great game from P-Cube, new game. Resistor is an interesting racer game, but also has elements of Mass Effect, because you interact with characters and it changes the story. And it affects the different races, so it's not just a race game. It's actual got it's a narrative story. So that comes out next year. Robo Beat was okay. It was basically Hellsinger, the game where you fire your guns to the beat.
Yeah, Metal Hellsinger.
Oh yes. Yep.
So it was okay. I didn't mind it. Really, really good kart racing game. Stampede Racing Royale.
Yes, I played this as well. This is incredible.
Amazing. Right,
it's out on early access right now, isn't it?
Early access is coming out on everything, I believe, next year, March, I believe. It's going to be free to play, but it is different to other kart races because you go up against 99 other players, and it's like Fall Guys, because you do a race or an event, and then people get knocked out, and you've got to play 4 different events until you dwindle down to the final 8.
That's very cool.
So the good thing about this demo, actually, is the fact that because it was on early access on Steam, we were actually playing live people at the event as well. So they had the stations set up with us, which were all numbered as EGX, but we were playing online with other people.
Yeah.
So I played 2 games of it.
Yeah.
I got a win. Full on win.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I got you. It was good.
It was incredible. I wishlisted it immediately as soon as I played it. It was so much fun.
The beauty of it, it's not only going to be free to play, it's cross-platform for everything.
Oh, that's so good. Yes.
Obviously, it's on early access with Steam to start with, but then they're aiming for everything.
Yeah.
Like literally everything.
Yeah. So that's going to be one to watch out for in March. 2 other games I really liked. One that I found out about a couple of weeks ago, which got first announced earlier this year, The Precinct, which is a 1980s cop game. If you took the original GTA,
that's cool.
Ooh.
And then took it from the stem of the police, so you go after the criminals, or you're in the helicopter or the car.
Oh, so it's more like the original concept of GTA then.
Yeah,
amazing.
Really, really good.
Is it top down?
Top down.
Yeah, so it's like what it used to be when it was called Race and Chase.
Oh, that's cool. I like that.
Other games I'll quickly mention: Spirit of the Samurai, a good sort of side-scrolling game where you get attack monsters. Kind of remind me a bit like, slightly like a better version of Altered Beast. Let's say that.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
But it had a bit more to it and a better narrative, and then you had to kind of figure out certain puzzles because you wouldn't be able to attack certain enemies without figuring out the stuff.
Yes.
And another little one that I managed to jump on the Sunday, which I really did like, was Yellow Taxi Goes Vroom, right? Which is, you've got this little yellow taxi, which has got a clockwork thing, and you go along, but every time you move, it takes up a turn. So you need to collect coins and get passengers. So imagine Crazy Taxi.
I was gonna say Crazy Taxi.
If you weren't here's one for the oil protesters. If you weren't in a car that uses petrol, because it's clockwork.
Amazing.
Right. But it's great fun because you again, it's a puzzle because you figure out how do I get to there without running out of turns. But it doesn't feel like a turn-based game because you are constantly moving. So you just keep going and finding there's lots of little secrets and funny little things. And they take the mick out of other things, like Mr. T appears in the game. It's clearly, but they don't call him Mr. T. And there's other little characters, so you know they're taking the mick. And that was great fun. Great Italian developer.
Very cool.
Okay, well, I'm more than looking forward to a few of those games now, and I wish I would have checked a few more out whilst I was there.
There was another handful of stuff, but I don't want to take up the segment. So just go on the EGX app and you can see all the games. They are still on there. Most of them. There are some games missing, weirdly, that were there to play, that not on the app.
Yeah.
Do have a look, and it's worth checking out.
Okay, so before we switch over to obviously what Mike has done for the vast majority of it, because we've taken a lot of time up with games and other shiz. I played Mario Wonder because it was probably the main Nintendo game that was there.
Oh no!
The demo didn't. The demo didn't do it for me.
Wow.
It was good. It was just the levels that they chose to highlight were not the most creative levels that they have in the game. And obviously, the fact that the game is now out, there is so much more creativity on hand. I just don't feel like they showcased it as well as they could have done.
Can I just point something out? This was another game you could go back to and play again because you were only forced to play the first 2 levels, and then you could go in any direction. And
yes,
you're allowed to play up to 4 levels, so you could go off and do whatever you want.
I thought the demo time was I thought it was demo timed because I didn't do 4 levels. I swear I did a few more.
Wow.
The guy next to me said it was 4 levels.
Okay.
But after the first 2 levels, you can branch off in any direction and do whatever you want.
Well, considering that the person that was actually at my demo booth was looking like the person who was obviously working for Nintendo at the time was like, "Oh, a speedrunner." She was probably quite surprised that I was racing through those levels quite quickly. So yeah, I think
probably had the full game now.
They wouldn't surprise me if they did, but also they did have. I think the demo was specifically a demo build of the game because now that I've got the full game, some of the levels that I played there are completely out of order of how we played them in the full game. But I don't want to talk about the full game as much because, well, we're just talking about the demo. So I felt like the
levels in particular did you play?
The opening 2 levels, and then when it starts to branch out, like on the world map. But there were a couple of levels that were obscured.
The one with the piranha plants, then.
Yes.
That when I played that level, I thought maybe I was on a bad trip because when I had all these piranha plants started singing and chanting along, and I'm thinking, okay, what the hell is going on here?
No, actually, no, they didn't have that level in the demo. That was the one where I said they didn't have the full creativity on order, and that was the level that sort of made me go, okay, I see where they're going with this game now.
Right.
Well, that is like the actual second level in the
so
game.
they'd obscured that level as such, which is fair enough. Like, but I felt like
I shall say no more. I don't want any spoilers for anybody.
No, of course, but I felt like they did showcase what the game was on order. Yeah, they did showcase what the game was all about. It's just obviously I just didn't feel like it did it for me right there and then, but a bit different. Yeah.
Well,
it was a good showcase of what the Wonder Flower was at least objectively trying to do in the game.
Oh, that's good.
Yes.
I think the other game modes as well, because I managed. Obviously, I did the whole thing as being an elephant.
Yep.
I think the drill helmet thing as well, where I got to use that. That was cool.
Yeah, the drill power up is probably one of my favourites so far.
Yay, Nintendo!
Yeah. That's probably something you never thought you'd hear me say. I wasn't blown away by a Mario demo.
I was quite sure you said that.
I'm shocked.
I know.
Pete,
look, I can be objective about my favourite franchise.
Game.
Yeah.
But I also did know that it was coming out like 5-6 days later, so I was like, okay, this is just
Friday
good.
came out, wasn't it? It flashed and too, wasn't it? So it was
yeah. So I've played both over the weekend, and I don't know how I've managed to play both over this weekend.
Oh goodness. So this is kind of a question for all 3 of you, of course. Pete, we'll start with you. Do you feel like there was enough variety and enough demos there on Showcase? Could they have more?
AAA games, they probably could have had a few more. Like I felt that the selection they did have, like Mags and Mike have probably already reiterated, Sega saved the show. Had Sega not been there, it would have been very empty. It was some of the demos were very good. Some of them were okay. Some of them a bit middling. I felt the indie game section and the res sections probably weren't as populated as they probably should have been. But some of the games that they did have on order there that I did see looked really interesting, really creative. I was a bit more disappointed because one of my favourite aspects of going to these sorts of shows was the left field collection. Like this is a big showcase section that they have there, and they walled it off this year, and I felt like that didn't really help them as much, and it was a bit more disappointing. So they had it behind this white booth, and
can I just say they've always done that?
Yeah.
It's just where it was positioned was quite bad because you would not see it because it was stuck behind another area.
Yeah, it was. That's
I
yeah.
get where you're coming
But
from on that.
so when I looked into that, some of the games there are really kind of cool, and like you said, left field. Like they're so weird. Some of the games they use like peripheral controllers or
Oh goodness.
things like that, and they are great games in there. But I just felt like it didn't get showcased nearly as much as it should have done. And the indie section was probably a bit more sparse than it was in previous years.
Very, very.
Well, speaking about the indie section, sorry, I'll interject here.
You're next anyway,
Is it
Mike.
possibly because? Is it possibly because of WSD X IGN, which was like the previous month, where they did have a lot more of like indie developers there? So maybe they thought, here we're going to be, have the highlight. There's going to be a lot of people coming just to play our games. Did it make sense for them to then go on to do EGX where they'll be overshadowed by everything else that would be there, perhaps?
I think
So maybe they thought, if we put our eggs into this basket with WASD, then we wouldn't have to necessarily pay twice as much to have a booth over at EGX.
Yeah. I think it's a difficult one because WASD happened twice last year. Obviously, I only got to the one in September. And obviously, you've already said there's games that have appeared there twice and then done EGX. There was only about 10% of the games that were at the Res section EGX that were actually at WASD. Bearing in mind, WASD is mainly a indie game focused event because it's the people who used to run Res who then up and left EGX to do their own thing.
That's true.
So I definitely agree that more indies would be attracted to do WASD, but WASD is a far smaller event. Whereas I think indies might be saying, hey, well, if this gets thousands of people through the door, more people might like the games. But the Res area was at least 50% smaller because Transfusion weren't there. And it's funny that when you looked on the map on the app, it stated that the Tentacle Collective were there, which they normally are, showcasing indie games. And then they disappeared off the app on the day of launch, and there was a big empty space, and they weren't there.
Oh, that would be why there was empty spaces.
Speaking of which, because I don't recall seeing Devolver at EGX. Maybe I'm wrong. They weren't, but they had a big presence at WASD in March. I don't know if they were there for September as well.
Oh dear.
Maybe they just didn't have anything major they wanted to showcase at this event.
They've got a game that's out, Wizard Cowboy or whatever.
Yeah,
Cowboy.
Wizard with a gun?
Wizard with a gun.
That's it.
Yeah, something like that. Wizard with a gun.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting that's out. I actually need to check that out.
Yeah, that came out Tuesday, just gone. But yeah, I agree with Mike in the respect that I think WASD's come along, and even though it's a smaller show, has got more credibility for indies because it is a show. Okay, WSD IGN had 4 big name AAA games there, which is a bit weird, but I suppose they brought that in to bring more people in. But there's no like market area. There's no all the what I call the bump of what EGX has. There's no meet and greets. There's no stuff you can buy. It's you go there and you play indie games, and that's what it's about.
Yeah.
And I think it's taken the thunder away from EGX. Funnily enough, did state after the backlash they got from the 2021 show that they were going to launch, come back to Birmingham to do a 2022 March show in Birmingham and still do the one at Excel. However, the show was going to be more focused on Res, an indie area, with a splattering of AAA games. And then 4 weeks before that show, they cancelled it and then stated that it would be back for 2023. And then normally they would rotate and announce each date. And last year's EGX in London put up the banner for this year's dates and never mentioned Birmingham again. Oof. And when anytime anyone brings it up or messages them, they refuse to reply. And I think that's the backlash because the lads from left and set up WASD.
I think so, yeah.
But the funny thing is that now EGX is a Res area with a splattering of AAA games.
Yeah. And I also thought it was very strange that usually at the end of the event each year, they would unfurl a banner showing the dates for the next year.
They did.
They haven't even confirmed the dates for next year yet, have they?
They have. They did do it, but no one realised it. There was quite a gap on their part.
Well, funnily enough, on the website,
wow.
it's still saying TBC.
So it's the 19th, 20th, 21st, and 22nd of September.
Oh my God.
Excel, and they put the banner up in the exit where people come in when no one walks out. And someone else pointed it out to me and said, "Oh, you see, they put the dates up today." They said they saw the guy because they were on a stand. They put the thing on. I said, "No one's noticed it because no one's walking back out the exit." So
because they're going out the side entrances to get out, aren't they?
They normally put it on the side entrances, so no one saw it. But they've not put it on the website, but it is confirmed.
But they've managed to remove all the games and all the stuff that was there at this event to then focus on next year, but they still haven't updated the website to show the dates for next year.
I know.
No. We're going. Well, actually, I'll ask this very brief question to Mag, and then we're going to move on to a very controversial topic. My favorite.
Oh God. Okay.
Another one.
Yeah, my favorite. But Mag, actually, I'm going to ask you what I asked the other two, which is the demo amount. Do you think it was just enough? Too much? They need more? What do you think?
Okay, so this goes two ways. Okay, I think there's two answers to this question. The first is there was plenty of demos to play, and I think the quality of them was very good in respect. Obviously, there was way more indie games than AAA. Going back to say 2016, even to 2019 at EGX, you would be swamped with AAA games. Like I remember the 2018 where Spider-Man was on. I remember playing Gears of War 5, Titanfall 2, South Park, the last South Park, The Fractured Butthole.
Yes.
All those games, right? So they need to get more AAAs. I get it's difficult. Looking back at 2021, they have improved it because the only big AAA game now for 2021 was Baldur's Gate 3, which obviously released this year.
Right.
Yeah, it was going into early access that year, though, wasn't it?
Only AAA game, and everything else was indie. Indie-wise, loads. But again, the area was half the size. Right. So they need to build it back up to what it was. But for me, the fact that the rest area was smaller than last year says to me they've taken a step back, as we've said, in terms of what you can play. But in terms of the quality of the demos and everything played, couldn't fault it from that end. There was plenty of stuff to play and a good variety of stuff. Didn't even touch on the VR stuff, but there was at least 4 or 5 different VR games you could play as well, which were really, really good. And obviously, all the stuff in the Left Field collection as well. And it was, funny enough, there was a great game. I'm going to say, I think it was Pine Hearts. It was one of my first interviews on the Thursday. Brilliant game. Check it out. It's not on the app. It's not listed on the app. And they had a big banner hanging from the ceiling saying it was there. And it's a great game. Great, beautiful puzzler. Like a Zelda game, but all about going camping. It's great.
Oh, that's very cool.
Okay. Actually, Nana has mentioned something in the chat that I think is actually quite worthy. It says, how did they not get Final Fantasy VII Rebirth over MCM Comic Con, which is 2 weeks later?
Yeah. That's actually a good point.
I think there's two things here. I'm going to say, I don't know, and then people can correct me, but I think one, Square Enix are in the poop financially, and MCM brings more people in than the EGX does. They're going to put it in the more populated event that covers the whole of Excel, both sides.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
But it should have been at EGX and it shouldn't be at Comic Con. But I get why they've done it. But if I was Square Enix and I'm in the trouble, I'm in the poo that I am right now, I'm going to take it where it's probably going to get seen by more people.
Exactly.
So I get
agreed. But considering in 2019 they had the Final Fantasy VII remake demo there, and that required people to actually sign onto an app to sign in to actually go and play it, would have worked perfectly at this event for something to do with the app itself. Because let's be honest, the EGX app is kind of wasted at this point. It is a map and it's a stand and it's
I think it was
great
better than previous years.
Yes.
In previous years they've had listed the wrong times and wrong things. There's obviously stuff still clearly missing off that app right now.
That's so wrong.
But I feel that they did a better job with it this year than previous years.
Yeah, including the scavenger hunt, even though us press weren't allowed to get involved in the scavenger hunt.
Well, it was pointless, the scavenger hunt, but it was a bit of fun.
Pete, that's a perfect segue into my next segment.
See, we're on the same page. This is why it works.
That's right. 4 years, man. But okay, so for our listeners and watchers,
crap, it is 4 years, isn't it?
I know, it's insane. But
Happy anniversary!
But for our listeners and watchers who may not know and probably don't know, I actually stumbled upon this on a BBC article. TikTok, Tick freaking Talk was a sponsor. Yeah. So we're gonna talk about that in the Creators Lounge, which I think was new this year. You guys correct me. I am going to start with Mag on this because he has more of a kind of direct connection to this, and then of course we'll get to everyone.
So, TikTok signed a 3-year deal with EGX to become the new main show sponsor, meaning that Virgin Media are no longer involved with the show. I felt that Virgin Media did a couple of things which were quite good. One, if you were a Virgin Media customer, which I am not, you could get half-price tickets, which was a big draw.
That's cool.
Which I thought was kind of cool. Also, they always did something with a stand. Now, even in the year when it was pretty dire because of COVID things, and again, not blaming EGX, they partnered up with Fall Guys, had a giant Fall Guys stand, which you could play Fall Guys, and you can do the Travelator thing, which nearly killed me.
It did with me too, yeah.
Right? But it was a big draw.
I almost had to have a triple heart bypass after that.
That's so cool.
Right? And even 2019, okay, they weren't really featuring a game that did well, but the stand was amazing. Hey, he's got the crown. Right? They did a stand for the Avengers game.
Yes.
Well, the Avengers game wasn't great, but they had all the full costumes and everything from the films. And you could. I didn't even play the game. I walked around the museum stuff that they had. So they always did something different and did something that everyone could get involved with and do something. Right. So they're now gone. Virgin Media are gone. So a lot of people have had a backlash going, what's happening? What's happening? They unveiled TikTok a week before the show launched as their main sponsor. Now, TikTok have been there the last 2 years.
Oh, dear.
In one shape or form, but not as a sponsor. And every time you've been there, there's something you can do on the stand, but a lot of the stand is locked off. Now, imagine that on a bigger scale, but it alienates a lot of people that go to the show. So what they had is they probably had one of the biggest floor spaces, right? Which is fine with a sponsor. They were doing little VR competitions at certain times. So if you wanted to get in a queue, you could play a VR game and win a prize. But the rest of the whole thing was shut off. Now, here's the interesting thing. Obviously, you can apply as a creator or a press or whatever for EGX and attend and get a free ticket, whether you go for 1 day, 4 days. I have done that. I was there the previous 2 years. I'm going to state this year. I was not accepted this year for a creator pass. They bypassed me. They said, we didn't think I met the thing. Right. So I was like, okay, fair enough.
Oh my gosh.
Right. No, but this is where this whole system falls down in a number of ways, okay? Because I was turned down, but then was sent a separate email to say that if I was still going to attend, please could I email them back so that they would let the devs know and press know. So if they wanted to book meetings with me, for me to do interviews and stuff, that could be done. So I did that, and I did have interviews and stuff with press and devs that were booked at certain times during the 4 days. But that brings up the question, apart from getting a free ticket, what's the point of the creator pass? Because I could still do everything else as a normal member of the public that a creator can. Now, the next thing, the creator lounge was locked off to not the creators that were invited by EGX. So, no, hang on, let me rephrase that. Sorry. The creators that were invited by EGX, the TikTok stand was locked off to them. Because TikTok only invited TikTok content creators, right? So if some were there, and right, so there are some that were there who I know are friends of mine. So I'm not having a moan or a go at them, but they do a lot of stuff on TikTok as well as Twitch, YouTube, blah, blah, blah. So they got invited, right? Which is fine. And they had a private party on the Saturday night in that area, but could use that area anytime during the 4 days. Other content creators went with their friends that were TikTok creators, and apparently the security were overly rude and said, you're not welcome in here. You can't come in here. And apparently only 40 people were invited, if you believe the photos. Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know. But the photos that you see, there was only 40 people. They've signed a 3-year deal. By the first day, the backlash about TikTok being a sponsor was shocking on social media, right? I'm not saying they're a bad sponsor, but they need to take a leaf out of their own book from Virgin Media. Now, TikTok as a standard 2 years previous, they did stuff for the public, like you could get on the Gotham Knights bike, get a load of free stuff, having your pictures taken, and they had a little area saying, oh, well, we've invited special guests, that's for them. That's cool. If you've got a stand that big, make it 50-50. Have half of the stuff for the public to do, and if you want to bring your content creators, I've not got an issue with that. Bring them in, have your party, do whatever you want, not a problem. But don't take up a space that was almost bigger than the whole Sega stand, bearing in mind they had 5 games to play and other things on that stand, and basically say no one is welcome. Because what is the point of having a sponsor unless they're just basically trying to give themselves their own back massage?
Yes.
I think that's what they will
exactly.
do. Because you notice actually you noticed on social media actually all the people that were TikTok creators all posting up in the TikTok filters like, I'm going to EGX, I'm going to EGX and all that. And that was only a week before, and that seemed a bit strange to me. But then obviously I was hearing about all this when I was there, and I was like, this is embarrassing. Like, even like the Virgin Media stand at previous years, like you said, you knew you couldn't go in there unless you had signed up as a Virgin Media customer, and that was quite evident and quite apparent because they made it quite obvious before the event.
Yeah, but then they didn't force the actual stand at the show. They didn't force you to do that. If you wanted to get discount tickets, you could sign up as a customer. But what they did at the show as Virgin Media was open to everyone, which is really cool. Whatever they did year on year.
Yeah, like the Fall Guys Travelator was open to everybody. And what you were talking about, the Avengers demo that they had, they were open to people to use. But this one, it just felt really exclusionary and really quite dumb, actually, the way that they implemented it. And I'm absolutely not surprised they had kickback towards it.
I just
Sorry, I don't see your name on the list. Move on. Sorry, don't see your name on the list.
Yeah,
move on.
Yeah, Sencho put might not be around as a sponsor for long. Tick tock, tick tock.
Can I just say one more thing?
Sure. Yes. Go ahead. Go ahead, Max.
Okay. So, I'm not going to name the person because I don't want to shame them in a way.
Sure.
What I said. So, they were invited by TikTok, but also a big Twitch streamer. Blah blah blah. Very lovely guy. And what's interesting, he had a mate who's a bigger TikTok person, right? Went along with them, and security said no, and this person kicked off and went, not being funny, pal, I didn't get invited, but I'm one of the biggest TikTok creators that the UK has got. And soon as they saw that, someone came running over from TikTok. Oh no, you must come in, you must come in.
Oh, for goodness sakes.
And my guy that I know said it was embarrassing that they did that.
Oh my gosh.
Oh god, that's cringe.
You cringe.
Yeah.
That is the exact word.
Well, this is why I don't use TikTok myself.
I can kind of get it in a way because it's like almost. I mean, as a content creator myself, or with my website and stuff like that, and it's like when you go to these events and stuff like that, and you want to organise an interview with somebody, you want to talk to somebody. If you're taking pictures, now I've flashed my badge a couple of times. If I'm taking pictures of an event, maybe, from a higher position and say, look, I don't want to actually go in and have a drink or anything. I just want to take a couple of pictures of the event. And normally I've not ever had a problem. But if somebody was to say to me, yeah, sorry, no, mate, you're not allowed to, then it's like, okay, fine, fair enough. I don't start giving it the old, but, I've got 5,000 subscribers, blah, 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 and all this, but no. It's like, if it's a no, it's a no. If they let me through, then that's fine. But if it's like, no, I'm not going to push. I'm just not that kind of person.
Yeah.
But
I think they were just generally quite rude to people. So I don't know if Simran mentioned this on your show last week. Obviously, I met up with Simran on the Friday of the show. And he said he wanted to just go and speak to somebody representing TikTok. So actually say, generally, I want to find out more and blah, 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 because, blah, blah, yeah. And they wouldn't let him anywhere near anyway. He said, no, I'm not interested in coming in the area. I would just like to know someone that I can speak to or a point of contact because I'm generally intrigued. And he said, I won't bother with them now because they were so rude to him.
Shocking.
And he was
my
like,
gosh.
yeah.
No.
So,
That's...
Well, when format becomes this next big, huge thing that overtakes EGX, and then TikTok are knocking on Simran's door,
That's
he
it.
can politely tell them to.
Yeah. Look, I'm going to say this again. There is nothing wrong with having content creator as a content creator myself, right? So I get invited to different events, and sometimes I don't. It's the way it goes. Everyone should get a fair share of the pie, right? So I'm not saying I'm bitter that I didn't get invited back. I probably won't get invited back now after I've had a rant at it, but I'm still going to probably go to the event next year regardless, right? And cover it for my own purposes. So it doesn't matter whether I get a pass or not. But these events thrive on having people there to shout about them and do stuff for them. Now, my only thing that's weird with this is it's great that they had loads of people. It was great to see some people who were like, oh my God, like I've only got 200 like likes or views or whatever. And I've been allowed to come. And I think that's cool because it shouldn't all be about the big name people.
Yeah.
It should be about all different sizes, which is great. But then you think what's weird with this is they put those passes out live to apply for. Funnily enough, the day after a certain show that I run, but we won't go into that. And I was tipped off, so I applied, and then they closed it by a certain time. So, by a good 6 weeks before the show, a lot of people knew who was accepted and who wasn't.
Right.
Yeah.
But as Pete rightly says, TikTok were only announced the week before, and then suddenly these TikTok people were announced literally a week before, saying, "Oh, I got this." It just seems very rushed, very poor. I wonder whether they scrambled to get a deal and then thrashed out the deal and then did it. But it's just kind of like, but hang on, if EGX is supporting all different size content creators, whatever platform they're on, why isn't TikTok now? I get it's only geared to people that are on TikTok, but why isn't TikTok saying, hey, this person has been doing 3 years and they might only have like 200 followers, but they've been posting constantly for 3 years, but they've gone, no, we only want the big names.
Yeah. To me, that is so transparent. You can see straight through it, and it's very distasteful. Very distasteful.
Yeah, it reeks of massive corporatism and favoritism to me, and it just didn't feel right.
Yeah.
That's why I want nowhere near that booth at all, because I'd heard about all of it, and I didn't even want to go near it.
That was my question to both Mike and Pete. How did you feel about TikTok's presence? Yes, go ahead, Mike.
Well, I mean, Miketendo64 does have a TikTok account. I don't manage it myself personally. Jack does. I did have TikTok on my phone for a little while, but I just got a bit tired of it because
I hate it.
I mean, I get the.
I hate it. Just full stop.
There is some content that is really, really good, and then there's just some content which is just following the trends after trends after trends after trends, and it's the same bloody music every single bloody time. It's the same dance with different people. And then it also just came to a point where it was mostly scantily clad, almost barely legal women. It's like, I cannot have this on my phone.
Yeah.
Now,
I mean, I get that.
I am a young man, and a lot of young men, obviously, they do. But if there are websites for this kind of stuff, if that's what you're into, so you can go there. You don't think to go on a TikTok, which you've got, adolescent teens that are using it. They're consuming this product. And it's like, oh, that's good. I want to go and do the same thing. And then it's bad enough that we live in a society where it's hard to tell, anybody's age these days when you've got prepubescent teens wearing true. Things that only 20-year-old women would dream of ever wearing. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's just blows your mind. But obviously, I didn't see much of that at EGX anyway. Fortunately, people were, fully clothed. To start with.
Oh, darn it.
I'm not huge on the TikTok scene anyway. I've given it a try, posted some videos. Yeah, you'll get like 4,000 likes on a video, and you think, hey, great, and then you get nothing else since, and it's like it's hit and miss. Depends on the content. And hats off to anybody as a content creator that's trying to, make it into this horrid world that we live in sometimes, and sometimes it's a very beautiful world as well. But
yes,
obviously, as somebody who's in the middle, I've been running the website since 2015. I've got a YouTube channel. I've got that. I'm not huge. I'm not quite small. I'm not as small as I used to be. I'm not
you're
huge.
quite well
I'm sort of in the
known.
middle.
You are quite well known, Mike.
Yeah, well, I'm well known with people that I like to, be around as well, and I think that's just the kind of best place to be.
Yeah.
Now, if I could do this as a full-time career, well, that's another story. I would love to be able to, get up in the morning, write on my website, write down some great articles for people to read, maybe post some gameplay videos and stuff like that, and that would be fantastic. That would be ideal, but it doesn't always work out like that for some people.
Yes.
As many of you know, and a lot of the big YouTubers, it's only like the top 1% that can actually live off it full time.
Yes.
A lot of the others that have got, some channels, they may have like 100,000 subscribers, but they still have to maintain a full-time job and support their family because, it's just the way that it is. A lot of these younger people that I will finish up, don't worry, the run is almost over. So a lot of the young people that aspire to be content creators and all that, I just want to say to them, as somebody who's in my 30s now, it was never necessarily my dream either, but you also have to have a backup just in case because it is make or break. You may all of a sudden become, hugely popular overnight, but a lot of times, you can't, give up your day job, and you should have something in the back pocket just in case.
Yeah, I
must throw your eggs in the same basket.
Must highlight this comment from a certain Miketendo64 who says, "Young, who are you trying to fool, older brother?"
You're only as young as you feel.
Young at heart.
Oh my goodness. Well, Pete, did you have any thoughts on the TikTok Creator Lounge?
I've said all I need to do. Stinks of corporatism, stinks of favoritism. Absolutely went down like a lead balloon. I think Mags probably summed it up better than all of us could because he felt he knows people who experience it firsthand. Yeah. So, I hope they do better with it next year. Obviously, if they don't, then you can't see that full 3-year commitment probably happening. But, well, the money's coming in, so EGX will probably ignore it, unfortunately. And I felt like, whilst I'm not the biggest fan of Virgin Media, I felt their presence at the shows in previous years actually were completely fine. Yeah. Like, there was nothing inherently wrong with them, despite the fact that Virgin Media are kind of a crappy company. But,
Well, Pete.
But anyway, our show is going.
Fund Branston space race somehow, haven't they?
Very true. Anyway, yeah, the show's going quite long. We're nearly at the 2-hour mark, so we probably should touch on to the final things that Mike was doing because,
Okay, well, actually, here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to slip away for 2 seconds.
Yeah, fine.
Bottle of wine said, "Hey."
Okay, well, let me take control then, and let me talk. We can talk shows and stuff.
Okay. What are you gonna ask my question? You're probably gonna ask a question anyway. What's gonna be? What?
So, Mike, panels. We know that you did a few panels, or a couple of them in the talks. Mags, obviously, you did the same thing too. So, let's be honest. Probably the main draw. Obviously, we can see it there. The Banjo-Kazooie panel, the 25th year anniversary of Banjo-Kazooie, where you had quite a lot of the Rare developers involved in discussing the game. So you did say previously that you queued for 40 minutes to get a front row seat. Let's talk about it.
Right. Well, the reason why I decided to jump in the queue and wait for 40 minutes, I wasn't 40 minutes standing. I actually did sit down in the queue and I was right at the front of it as well. There was only like 2 other people in front of me.
And they were probably the group that were you.
Yeah. So, I mean, because it was the whole reasoning to my madness of actually going to EGX this year and jumping on a plane and flying over to England. And obviously, because anybody who doesn't know, I live in Spain. Which you already do anyway, most of the people in the chat anyway. So just for any casual listeners, I do live outside of the UK, so I had to actually fly there and then go to the event. And it was that main thing, the chat, the 25th anniversary panel, and being able to meet Grant Kirkhope in the flesh. Seeing as I have done a couple of interviews and, engaged with him on Twitter over the years as well. So, being able to, meet him in person and just say, thank you for the happy memories, was a little bit of a big deal. So, well, for me personally. So Yeah, the chat itself or the panel itself with, I'm going to start forgetting names now because I'm showing my age a bit. So there's Chris Sutherland, there was Ed Bryan, Steve Males, and Grant Kirkhope, who were on the panel. And they were all talking about, how they worked on the game and how they were going to try and release it for 1997. But in the end, it was pushed back until 1998 because they just couldn't develop it in time. And it was actually a pretty interesting panel. And it had a lot of anecdotes and also just the love that was in the room as well. There were so many people that were just happy to be there and listen to these guys talking about a game that they created 25 years ago. And it's like, yeah, does anybody really love the game anymore? Does anybody and just to shows you that yes, we do. There is still an audience there. And if they were to release a Banjo-Kazooie game within the next couple of years, I just hope to, whoever is up above who listens, that Rare will bring it over, say to the Playtonic guys and say, look, you guys developed the first game when you were still at Rare. We want you to work on this. I think that's the only way that a Banjo-Kazooie game would be viable this day and age to maintain the charm that it had back in the 90s, to be fair. So they was talking, there was one particular story that Grant was talking about, a particular thing that they did, which was called Case Up, Trousers Down. Now, if you wasn't at the panel to hear that, yes, it is literally as it sounds, Kylie. Apparently, they would bring in some cake, they'd throw the cake in the air or something, and then try and pull people's trousers down.
Oh, nice!
Now, one time they did this. Apparently, Grant went up behind one of them. I think it was in the bathroom or something, and Shigeru Miyamoto was there at the time, and he actually pulled down somebody's trousers at the time. And it's like, okay, what the hell is going on here then? And apparently he hasn't really spoken to him since.
Yeah, I would think so.
I mean, are you surprised?
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, they say first impressions are the most important, and that's quite an impression.
Yeah, I would say so. Oh my gosh, I'd be so scared to touch him anyway.
Well, it clearly shows the difference in culture in the 90s, because that will probably get you cancelled nowadays.
That's true.
Yes, especially yes, just yes.
Oh my! Unless you're Bobby Kotick. Oh.
And Sencho's just put in the next Banjo game must be called Getting Jiggy with It.
No. Getting jiggy with it.
Does that mean the main antagonist is Jada Pinkett Smith then?
Oh, let's not go there. Especially, she's in Gotham. Did you know that she's in Gotham? I didn't know that.
I did not.
Yes.
Fish Mooney.
Yes.
Fish Mooney, yes. I actually didn't know that until I was watching it. I was like, is that Jay? Oh, it is. Oh my gosh. Anyway.
Must have filmed that just before they got separated.
Exactly. Yeah.
What? Sorry, what?
Relevant.
There's a tangent. I could go on for a while.
Right. So
yes,
to
Pete,
sort of
go
piggyback on the back of the Banjo panel, because I wasn't able to attend it, unfortunately. But Grant Kirkhope did do something down at the GI Academy show chat at like 11 o'clock on the Saturday morning. I was there front row for it. And it was just a really interesting discussion that he had with someone from gamesindustry.biz to ask a few questions about how he got into the industry, how he took his chance, it was a really, really interesting 25-minute chat, took some good feedback from the audience. And then straight after that, spent about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, just standing around talking to people, signing autographs,
cool.
and all of that. So
I like that.
I did get my pass signed by Mr. Kirkhope, so that was awesome. And yeah, I thanked him for a great music of GoldenEye, the last game that me and my brother played together. So yeah, Mike was there. Like he took up probably about an hour of the time just getting stuff signed. No, I'm joking. It wasn't that long, honestly.
All my stuff signed, yeah. Well, this game is actually a friend of mine, and because we knew that I was going to the event and he couldn't come. And he said, could you get that signed for me? And I said, yeah, go on then. I'll get that signed for you. I did get my press pass signed as well, but because it was Jack, that has the tradition of getting his press pass signed. I actually gave him mine, and I've got his now. Because I got this cartridge, this case signed. I thought, you know what, I'll let Jack have the other one. To be fair,
yeah,
but yeah, no, it was great to be able to talk to Grant as well in person.
Yeah, it was just the fact that like it wasn't in a signing booth or anything like that. He just stood by the stage, just chatting away to people for that long of a period of time. You can tell that he's one of those people in the industry that really appreciates the fans that got him to that position. And it was just a really nice touch of his to do so.
Oh, that's very good to hear.
Having watched both panels, I watched the career panel that you actually saw. Obviously, Barry he recorded that, so I've watched the recording. And listening to that, and then listening to Grant in the 25th anniversary panel as well with Banjo-Kazooie, it speaks from experience that he is used to doing interviews with other people, and he's spoken a lot about these games over the years as well. And the reason why I say that is because obviously, the other guys like Chris, Ed, and Steve, it was probably Grant that spoke the most, but mainly possibly because the others weren't too used to talking in such a public setting. They have done interviews in the past, obviously for magazines and stuff like that, and possibly like one-to-one. But maybe, being in a huge audience full of people, it may have been a little bit different. But you could see that obviously with Grant having a lot of experience with doing like these kind of interviews, he was, ready and willing to jump in and answer anybody's questions if the other guys weren't quite up to, answering such questions. So, yeah.
I do also have to give a shout out to the two guys that were running the GI Academy booth. Like, they did a really cracking job. They were there to answer questions. I did go and ask them about, obviously, as a freelance writer myself, how did you get into the industry? What's the way that you would, approach that? And they were very forthcoming with the information. Just said, look, I'm an idiot. Like, if I could do it, then most people probably can. And he'd been doing it for 18 years. So big shout outs to the guy, I can't remember his name, but the guy who was doing the interview with Grant from Games Industry was also very approachable, very nice as well, and he was a decent guy too. But
he also moderated the other panel as well.
Yeah, he did. I did see him constantly pretty much around Grant Kirkhope pretty much the whole weekend. So funnily enough, I did actually ask Grant Kirkhope about this, and it was one of the questions that I always wanted to know about, is whether or not he got approached by Free Radical to go on, to go with them, obviously, when Rare split up. But he said, look, I didn't want to. My best mate is Graham Norgate, and the work that he done on the Time Splitter series is utterly incredible, and I didn't want to step on his toes. So it was like, that's a great answer. And he was so forthcoming with the information. It was like, okay, that's really cool.
Oh, goodness.
So anyway, so moving on, just because Mags has obviously had got to check out a few panels as well. So what was your highlights of some of the ones that you saw?
I'll go for a quick blast of very, very, very quick blast. So the morning on the Thursday at the GI Academy, there was an interesting one, which I didn't think was quite advertised as it should have been, because it was how to get a job in the video games industry, presented by the people who make the Football Manager games.
Oh gosh, yes.
Which was a perfectly good seminar, except a lot of people left halfway through because it was a glorified how to write a CV seminar, which did not go down well, because most people in the audience were, I've sent off 500 CVs, I don't want to know this.
Right.
So that was a bit of a mismatch. But to be fair, the guy that delivered it did a good job in that respect. So there were people that were interested because they were starting from ground zero, but not what's advertised. The content creator thing on the Thursday was great, apart from that incident. Didn't get to see the Assassin's Creed Mirage one, but it was basically quite well received. I heard that the Baldur's Gate 3 panel on the Thursday was probably one of the most well-attended things of the whole weekend. Despite the low numbers, it was like the queues for that were insane. There was the Sea of Thieves panel. Hey, and now, weirdly, they did that again last year, but the theatre was half the size of last year. So I was like, oh, crap, I queued up an hour to get in that, and I just got in.
Oof.
Now, I don't know if this is a sign of the times about Sea of Thieves or to show you how not as busy the shows were, but I literally walked straight in and still half the seats weren't full. But it was a great talk. And for me, kind of was a highlight, because they talked about everything that's happened, stuff with the Monkey Island update, blah blah blah, and then delved into a load of things that they probably shouldn't have done or did tease and have announced stuff for 2024, which they did last year as well, which now has come into fruition. But for a Sea of Thieves fan, that was great fun. There was obviously, I'm really gutted. I missed the Sam Lake talk about Alan Wake 2, but I was invited to the content creator. This is the funny thing. I was invited to the content creator conference, even though I didn't have the content creator thing. 2.5 hours with other content creators. And they had different talks on health and well-being, how to get other sponsors. That's cool. TikTok did do a thing, which actually was okay, because they were talking about how TikTok is getting into more gaming. So that was interesting. Stuff from the people from Yogg's Cast about the charity thing they've been doing since 2011, now to make more content creators aware of it, and other different aspects and different apps that were coming out to help content creators. So it's a 2.5 hour freebie that was chucked in, which was actually just outside of Excel in the Platinum Suites upstairs. That was really cool. But it meant I missed the one panel that I wanted to see the most, which was obviously Alan Wake 2. But there you go.
I did see the picture of that with Sam Lake standing on the stage. It looked incredible.
Yeah, it looked great. I know, I mean, the final few things is there was obviously the after hours stuff in the evenings. I didn't see many people going in for the Resident Evil 2 speedrunning thing. I don't know how that went. And I couldn't even hear it from the theatre, but apparently it happened. But on the Friday night, they did the Dark Room, which is this insane competition thing. Now, annoyingly, because the pumps at the bar broke, I got stuck in a queue for 40 minutes at the bar, which meant I couldn't get in to the Dark Room to see it. But because it was so loud, I actually heard the whole 2-hour show while I played on all the retro games.
Nice.
And it sounded hilarious. He was clearly trashing Ubisoft through the whole thing. But it's very much like that vibe of Nightmare and stuff like, where am I? You're in a room, it's dark, and blah, blah, blah. And he's like the games master. But it's rigged that you always die, because he gets the old crowd going, you die, you die, you die. And then he goes, well done, you've won the best Ubisoft game ever. Black flag. And everyone cheers. Going, lying. It's Unity. It's shit. Oh, I swore. Sorry.
That's fine. We're allowed one. Everybody gets one.
Yeah, paraphrasing. He said that, not me. So it was a lot of fun. They did the whole 2-hour show. And he was quite approachable because he was there the next day. And I know a couple of people that I know from certain magazines went up to him and said, can we just interview? And he was like, yeah, I'll have a chat. And he seemed really cool. And then the Saturday night, they had Chipsel that does the DJing, but with all 8-bit or Game Boy sound effects. Now, again, we didn't go in because I wasn't in the mood for a rave, but we were having a pizza and a beer at the bar and heard the whole concert. And it was fabulous.
Interesting fact, Chipsel is from Northern Ireland.
Yeah, she was brilliant, and you could hear
amazing.
It was amazing.
She's amazing.
I'm just going to drop one more thing in about EGX where I think they shot themselves in the foot. The layout of the thing was quite poor because what's silly is you had the theatre that was half the size of the theatre last year.
Oh dear.
And you had the arena for the Street Fighter and Tekken tournaments that was half the size of what it was last year. And they decided in their infinite wisdom to put them opposite each other. So when you were listening to the talks, all you could hear was the tournaments going on.
No.
Yeah, I did hear that as a complaint.
It caused a lot of issues because people were walking out because they couldn't hear the talks. So unless you were from middle row there. Also, there was a number of comments about the lighting in the theatre. They, for some reason, in their infinite wisdom, shone bright lights into the audience faces.
Oh, that's not cool.
Were shouting, turn the lights off. Turn the light, and a lot of people were getting really infuriated with the AV team. I don't know why they thought
it wasn't just that, but it was like almost strobing as well.
Yeah,
like, it just going around in your face the whole time.
It wasn't even if it was fixed, so you could move chair because it would move back and forth and hit you.
Oh, I can't handle that. Yeah.
So if you sat back away from the lights, yes, you didn't get blind by lights, but then you couldn't hear the blooming talk because all you could hear was the tournament.
We had it was a similar. I'd say it was a similar problem at the EGX arena as well, where the lights were just so aggressive. Like you just couldn't really enjoy it because where I was sat, I just decided to take a few minutes to have a drink, sit down, little something to eat for lunch whilst watching some Street Fighter, and I was blinded by the lights, could barely see anything that was really going on, and it was really disappointing. And then what I'd heard beforehand as well was on the Thursday and the Friday, but the speakers were far too loud for the arena as well.
Yeah, they just drowned everything out. And when you've got like a quiet panel of 4 people discussing a Q&A, like the horror panel, I forgot to mention that. Horror panel was great. They had someone that worked on the Silent Hill games, guy that did all the Dark Pictures anthology, person that worked on Alien Isolation, someone that worked on, oh my God, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game that recently came out.
Nice.
And they're also working on the Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Oh, yes.
And it was a great talk, but I could only tell you that about out of the hour, I probably actually heard 30 minutes of it.
Oh.
Because the thing kept going in and out. And even there, you could see the panelists were getting infuriated because people were like, I can't hear your question because that's so loud.
No.
And I'm gonna say this. It was bad that EGX planned it and put them there. You had that giant floor space in the middle that had nothing, and they could have put the arena there.
They could have done, yeah.
That's where it was last year, and it wouldn't have interfered with the theatre. But I'm not going to blame EGX entirely because it's down to the AV companies, whoever were running them, should have done a better job with the sound and lights and monitored it all because they were alienating people, and people are shouting at the AV teams to either turn the sound up, turn it down, or sort the lights out, and they ignored the requests.
That's disappointing.
Yeah.
That definitely will make people question returning. Because what's the point if you can't hear, the content?
Yeah,
agreed.
I do want to ask a question out there. If anyone's gone to EGX, has anyone also noticed that normally 3 days after the event's finished, they send out a questionnaire for you to fill out?
I've got nothing.
I've had nothing yet. Now, it might turn up in the next week or so, but normally I get it within a few days. But I tell you what, the fact that this has gone longer, I've got quite a lot to say on my thing.
I think we've all had quite a lot to say on this podcast. So if they want feedback, I'm just going to be like, "Here's the podcast. Enjoy."
There you go. We'll save you having to send out 3 emails. Here you go.
Well, I think we're gonna wind down this portion of the show. This is the podcast portion for those who don't know, and then we'll stick around a little bit afterwards. But what I do want to leave a question with all 3 of you, and Mike, we'll start with you. What do you think could be improved for next year?
Ooh. Right. Well.
Where do you start?
Now, where do I start? I mean, on the general whole, I mean, Mags has already, touched on a lot of the good points that they really do need to improve upon. I mean, if they were going to do it, well, they are going to do it next year, but obviously, the EGX Theatre, if they've got to have that out one side of the room and then have the actual, the tournament stuff, like the main stage, have that on the other side of the room so it does not correspond. I mean, where they did the career talks, maybe have that next to the EGX Theatre, perhaps.
That would work.
Because
that would have worked well.
For the careers, and it's like, okay, well, after hearing that panel, I mean, people, they won't be talking over the top of each other, and you're not going to be hearing huge cheers and everything, which always seems to cut the atmosphere when you're trying to understand what people are talking about. So if they were to have that up down the far end, and then where all the actual games are, perhaps. Right. I found merchandise this time around to be a lot less than it has been in previous years.
Ooh, massively.
Right. I mean, it's generally all the same stuff. So it's obviously it's generally pop figures, some of your Japanese anime. There's your typical plastic swords and stuff like that, and Pokemon cards everywhere. But there have been times where I've gone where there've been a lot more stands. And this year, it was almost only stuck in a corner somewhere, basically, or just stuck in the middle. And there was probably about 12, 16 stands. And then that was about it. And they were so narrow. The spaces between were so narrow, you could hardly walk in between anyway.
Oh, they were really badly organised as a result of that, weren't they?
Yeah.
Our audience.
Yeah. I mean, if you've been to a typical market, it was like that, but worse. It was just, you're basically one person walking, you got one person standing at the stand, you got another person standing at the stand, and you couldn't get through. And if it was two-way traffic, it was not happening.
What our audience might
Which makes it terrible for pickpockets, because somebody could just come along and just sneak out your pocket. You wouldn't know. You would not know.
This is what I want to talk about. So for anyone who doesn't know, I own a merch company. I sell merch. That's what my whole deal is. Hearing that the merch area itself was, first of all, they're still selling those dadgum plastic swords.
Yeah, they were annoying.
But it's so narrow like that. Because see, what they do is they cram everybody into a section, because we have to pay a lot of money to appear there. Vendor fees are astronomical. You'd be shocked to find out how much a booth is. And so then they squish us in like sardines, which means that our punters, our people who, you know, come and buy from us, they don't have any room. And it's just like what Mike is saying. And then we're all smushed together and you don't know who is selling what. And then the merchandise blends into each other. That is very disappointing to hear, because in the past EGX, because I've looked at it, because I've thought about selling at EGX, they have been very good in the past. But I've been looking at photos, and it's exactly what Mike said. It's sardines, and it's just, you're not gonna get.
Oh yeah.
They're not providing an environment for sellers to sell. They're doing is trying to get their money off of us, their vendor fees, and that's all they care about. Now I can't say that for EGX because I wasn't there this year, but all I'm saying is it does reflect what Mike is saying.
Well, look, my sister and her partner and their friends, basically, I mean, their core goal when it comes to EGX is buying stuff.
Yes.
I mean, they're happy to play some games here and there, but it's all about the merch, because sometimes you get stuff at these events that you can't get anywhere else.
Yes.
You go into a game which is now in a sports direct for some bloody obscure reason, because, you know, they've shrunk down, and now they're almost virtually insignificant in the UK.
Yes.
And then if you want to try and buy any particular, you know, video game merchandise, you're stuck with buying whatever you can find on like HMV or an insert coin, or, you know, that kind of thing through a website. It doesn't even have a proper retail store. And I mean, it's all well and good that Bandai have opened up a stall. I think it's close to the Truman Brewery.
Yeah, it is.
I heard.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's all good. That's great. But you know, some people would like that, you know, at the events as well, because that's where they go for. It's like, okay, while I'm here, I've got £300 in my pocket. Let's spend it. And it's like, well, I've got Pokemon cards and Funko Pops, and I own all of them. So yeah.
Yep.
There was a lot of stalls that seemed to be very, very similar, if not identical.
Some stands actually had more than one stand because to fill up space, and there were a number of empty stands where people didn't turn up clearly, or they just clearly didn't sell the space. And I've never seen that at an EGX before.
No, I haven't either.
No.
That's disappointing.
And seeing as last year the market area was at least twice the size as this year, and it is just surprising.
Yeah. See, and I'm going to say this now. Like 2016, they had insert coin, and they had a Bethesda stand where I bought the Doom guy and stuff, right?
Nice.
And I got this Arkham Knight top from the 2016, right? There was none of that. And there was loads of ones not missing. It was quite. I believe it or not, my ex-wife wanted to come to the show because she always went there for the shopping. Didn't care about the game, went for the shopping. And she said, "I'm considering coming on the Sunday. Just show me what's on offer." And I did a 2-minute walk around with a camera and showed her everything. She went, "I ain't gonna bother coming."
See?
Is that what I spotted you doing on the Sunday then?
Yeah, I was filming.
Interesting.
Yeah, and then sent it her, and she went, "I ain't gonna bother coming." And even I only paid. I bought a Doom Eternal paint print because I got one that he did from Borderlands a couple of years ago. I was like, "Oh, I just saw that," and I said to him, "I'd only saw that on the Sunday because I'd walked around and I thought there's nothing here to buy." And and he said, "Well, I only put it out today," and I was like, "Thank God!" And I bought that, but I only spent £20 on any merch the whole weekend. I normally spend like 250 quid or something.
Oh my
I spent 20 quid.
It's funnily enough, this was the first year I actually bought merch. Actually.
Oh my gosh! What did you buy, Pete? I have to know. This is killing me, by the way.
I'm not telling you what it is. It will be revealed in a future date.
Oh, okay.
Mike knows.
No. Yes, I know. The only thing I bought was this lanyard, pretty much, because they don't even give you the lanyards now.
That was so annoying.
And it's like,
they didn't give you the. Oh.
Look at this lanyard. This plain black lanyard is what we got.
Yeah. So here's the funny thing, right? if you have the 4-day pass, which I have, you get the lanyard, and you had a choice of 1 or 2. But the lanyard that comes with it, a lot of people's badges were falling off because it wasn't good, right?
Oh my gosh!
But
Oh,
if you wanted a lanyard, the lanyard cost you £8.
£8.
Yeah, and then it was 50% off on the final day, so still I wasn't paying £4 for it.
Do you know how much it costs to make a full-colored lanyard?
Oh yes,
about 20p.
Yes, it's not £8. Holy crap!
If you
it was silly.
And even the bag, oh, here's the funny thing. So they messed up again. If you got the super pass, you got that lanyard right there, which was £8. The bag, which was £15, which clearly isn't worth £15, because Sega was giving away the same bags, but with Sega written on for free, and a pin badge, which they had no stock of, and had to announce to every single person that they're going to send them to you in the post. Now, I remember they did this back in 2021, and people were still waiting 6 months later for their badges. So who knows when I'm going to get my pin badge that's apparently included in this thing.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, these are the ones that I've just shown while Mags was talking. These are the ones that they actually did give you at the event previous years.
Yeah, because
and I think last year, I think it was the single black strap as well for 2021. I'm not too sure. And I picked up one
only ever give away now if you get the 4-day super pass.
So annoying.
Oh my gosh.
I've still got that as part on my keys. It's ridiculous. Like the ones that you get for free.
I have quite a collection.
Okay, small little tangent, little aside, because I'm a merch supplier. Company or organizations like EGX, they should be giving those lanyards away free, because you know what that is? That's free advertising. They cost nothing to make. I know this because I make them. And they cost nothing in the grand scheme. And they are wonderful, as Mike has shown. They're wonderful keepsakes. You keep them through the years, and you look at it and you go, oh, EGX, positive feelings, heart, heart, heart. I'm going to keep going to there because I have positive feelings towards this company, this brand, this whatever. That's a little bit of brand education.
Yes.
People out there.
But here's a wild thing. Here's a crazy thing. Now, I've attended EGX and I have attended MCM Comic Con. Now, if you're looking for any kind of like video game merchandise, where do you think you should go to get that?
See, I know.
I'm going to guess that you're going to go to Comic Con now because it's better.
It has so much more.
They have so much more. Much more. I mean, like Mag said, you know, it's both sides of the XL building, and they have like merchandise stands on both sides.
Yep.
So it is absolutely everywhere, along with people dressed up in cosplays. They've got talks and absolutely everything going on. The cable guys last year, it would be the October time, they had the cable guys had a lot there, and they had all these, you know, like the control holders and stuff like that. But, you know, pretty much everything. They had a huge stand. There was the U2s as well, which they're kind of like the new like pop kind of figure skaters, which look really, really cute and that. And there was just so much more on offer. And then I went to EGX this year and said, maybe I'll pick up something. And it's like, there's nothing really screaming out at me. It was bare bones on the way.
There was another thing as well, and this is, I wouldn't say this is necessarily down on EGX themselves, but more of a scheduling issue with the XL Centre itself. I don't know why they thought this was a good idea to schedule this on the same weekend as a massive Disney event.
Oh no, what was it?
Was
Disney on Ice or something? What was it?
No, it was like a Disney 100 like centenary event that they just had on in another section of the XL. They also had another event across the hall as well. It was packed. The whole XL Centre was stupidly packed.
I'm going to jump in here because I've been to other expos, even business expos, and that's quite common that you can get up to 4 expos at the same time at XL, because at the end of the day, they're like NEC, they need to sell the space.
Yeah, I get that.
There's a beauty and hairdressing show. Now, what you need to think about that is that was on Saturday, Sunday, Monday, right? And obviously EGX was Thursday to the Sunday. Hairdressers and beauty people are not open on Sundays and Mondays.
Right.
And I had a mate who was working that, and he said the Saturday for them was dead, which you would think was crazy because Saturday EGX was dead. But the Sunday and Monday was rammed because it's prime time, because all the hairdressers and beauty people don't normally work and they got to the show. So I get that you kind of go, it's a scheduling thing, but at the end of the day, they got to try and make what works for what industry when they can. And I've been to other events where there's other events on at the same time, and Excel can deal with it. To be honest, it's
yeah. I just I know that I usually generally have multiple things on at the same time, but two or three events of huge caliber at the same time, and I don't feel like the Excel really handled it too well, especially when it came to the security as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if it comes down to security, I think probably EGX got the brunt of it because it looked like the the security for the beauty and the hair thing were on point because you had to go in that, and they were good to know. On it. But you looked at their exhibition hall and it was jam packed with stuff.
Yeah.
And then you turned around and looked at EGX and went, "Why so many giant patches of space?"
Yeah.
And it took up more space than the hair and beauty show, which was jam packed with stuff. I probably would have had more wireless. Nothing about hair and beauty. I probably would have had a better time going in there.
Maybe. But I know.
Right, yeah, we're running long.
We did. We got on a tangent. That's my fault because we were talking about merch. That's my specialty. But one thing I do want to say now, I'm going to give everyone equal floor time. But just in case you don't know, Mag is putting on a convention himself. I'm going to give him time to, talk about it. So go for
it. Was not expecting that. So
yeah,
I know.
Tell us how it's done, Mag.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Exactly.
Best time I ever managed to shut me up. 14th of August next year. Europe's largest arcade club Bury. We have a one-day gaming extravaganza from 10 a.m. till 10 p.m. Where there are over 300 arcade machines. There's pinball machines, there are Nintendo Switches, Xboxes, all free to play for the 12 hours, amongst a load of other stuff. We will hopefully have a tabletop area like we did this year. We will be hosting ironically, our first ever content creator lounge area. Sponsored by the Gamer Guide, who are running it. We can't unveil what we've got.
Everybody's welcome. Everybody's welcome.
Yeah, well, it is. Right. So, there are certain content creators that are going to be announced because we've booked them because they are guests that are going to be on panels or doing competitions. And stuff's going to be unveiled over the next couple of months. But if you are a content creator, you'll be welcome into that lounge. So that we are not.
And if you're a TikTok creator, you can get in the bin.
Yeah, there's bins out the front. We are going to have a Debug magazine back there, the Indie Game magazine. We'll be unveiling what they're doing at the show. But we have already announced that we will have a number of Q&As, panels, gaming competitions. We are taking our Mario Kart tournament even bigger. Rather than just doing a big competition on the main stage, we're going to be running heats on the first floor throughout the day. Up to that, we will be unveiling something in January about another big competition, which I can't say just yet. But we have got Games Mistress coming all the way from Norway, who's one of our guests. We have got the Gamer Guide. As mentioned, we've got the lads from Retro Gaming Revival going to be doing a show. And we have a number of other fairly big names and some bigger names that will be doing stuff, but we're not allowed to announce it yet. But we will be announcing stuff throughout the end of November through to January. There will be stalls. There are traders. It's not a big thing for our thing, so we only have a handful, but you can buy stuff. So Light Gun Retro Gaming will be there like they were last year, saying loads of amazing things and actual video games. And there's loads of other stuff. Cosplay, big cosplay competition that we're doing. But the good thing is tickets are already on sale and you can get 20% off on the early bird up to November the 30th, which means you can get a VIP ticket, which this year got you in an hour earlier, got you a free lanyard, got you a free bag, got you 2 Steam games worth £7, got a copy of Merge Games' new game, which is just about to go up, worth £25, a load of player ammo sachets worth £9, and a copy of Debug magazine for £7.50. And you got first pick to play all the competitions, and you got a free lunch included for £50. You can now get that for £40 right now. Standard tickets, we listen to the audience. We dropped them from 25 down to 20, but you can now get them for £16 right now. A child's ticket is £8. You save £2. And a family ticket, 2 adults, 2 kids, normally 50, is currently 40. This will be the biggest discount that we will run. We will be running other discounts with said content creators and our partners, but it will not be as big as the discount you can get right now. So if you go to Timeless Gaming, www.timelessgaming.co.uk, you can get those discounts now, and you have approximately 5 weeks left to get your 20% off tickets. And if you want to find out more, we are exhibiting at Format next Thursday coming up, because we're good friends with Simran. Come and have a chat to us. Come and play Mortal Kombat 1, the new Sonic game, the new Mario game on our stand, ironically. And come and have a chat with us and find out if you are a content creator, how you can partner up with us and get some free tickets to the event. Or if you've got ideas you want to throw at us, please do. So there you go.
Sencho has an idea for you. He said, don't invite Billy Mitchell.
Oh, I know. Right. Billy Mitchell was at NERG, I believe, this year. Is that right?
I have no idea.
He is not on my list of people I'm going to approach. I can tell you that.
Okay, cool.
I have hinted at a certain person that is an American guy living in Ireland that we are approaching, that Kiley knows about, that we would love to have on the panel. That's all I'm going to say. But we did approach very big YouTubers, and unfortunately they can't commit because they're owned by a certain company that we can't mention. Which is fine, but one of them may be on a future show very, very, very soon.
Okay.
On Tuesday Night Gaming Chat, and it's quite a big coup for us.
Nice.
So
very good.
Oh,
so we might have failed in one respect, we've managed to gain in another, so that's not too bad.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So sorry, just to reiterate, www.timelessgaming.co.uk, was it?
Thank you. Yes. Yeah, was indeed.
Yes. The link will be in the show notes as per usual.
Yes.
So now we've gone 2.5 hours. We've got to wrap this up. This is a long one. So
I want Mike to tell us about his wonderful thing. I've drank a lot of wine.
Yes. It's called Super Mario Bros. Wonder. I have no part in the game. But because you said wonderful. Okay, so I run Miketendo64.com. We, write news, reviews, personal views, giveaways, interviews, and so much more. We also have a YouTube channel as well where we post gameplay videos and stuff like that as well. If you want to follow us, if you want to give us a read over there, we very much appreciate it. If not, we totally understand, because we all do have extremely busy lives. But even if you could just give us one view, once a day or something.
Oh, yes.
That's very much appreciated.
Yes.
Very much appreciated. Because the Google algorithm sucks right now, as everybody knows.
Yes. Yep.
And it is messing everything up.
You may have also noticed that I dropped the Banjo-Kazooie panel YouTube link into the chat, so we've got a few people who have shown interest in that. So please go and check that out. That is on the on the Miketendo64 YouTube channel. I will include that in the show notes as well.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Really
you are a gentleman and a scholar.
Yes.
Anything for a friend of the show. For both the friends of the show that we've got on.
New friends and old.
Yay, I'm the other friend of the show.
Yay! But
I mean, originally that whole
Mike's number one.
Yeah, well, to be fair, that originally started as a meme, and then he came on the show to actually make it official. So
I actually never knew we were gonna meet. But we're gonna wrap this portion up. For the people who sat through our wonderful show, thank you so much for lasting. But we do like to do a little follow-up show, just fun, friendly banter. But we're going to wrap this part up. We hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to our viewers and our listeners. Please, if you can, we would appreciate it. We don't advertise the show. We don't do anything really commercial, because we try to keep an authenticity around us. If you could share the show, review it, star it, or whatever, we would appreciate it greatly. But I think that's going to do it for us. So thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you and talk to you next week. Bye.
Bye.
West side.
West side is the best.
In his house. That ends the podcast portion. Wow, my voice is going because I never talk to people. I literally talk to Pete. That's it.
Right, I'll be back in 1 second, 2 seconds.
So Pete's gonna go do his thing. But anyway,
I am gonna have to love you and leave you because it is very, very late
I'm
for me.
sorry,
I would
yes,
love
it
nothing
is.
more than to stay and continue talking, guys.
Yeah,
but I do have to get up early, and I don't know if the missus you can hear in the background.
I can't.
Hi, sleepy time.
Yes, thank you for joining us, Mike.
Keep forgetting it's an hour ahead as well.
It is.
God. Look, Mike, I was trying for about an hour to wrap up.
You just blame it on me. I just kept rambling on, so just blame it on me.
No, I think we all did.
I was gonna say I got on my merch ramble. Yeah, I had to ramble about that merch. But thank you so much for joining us, Mike.
I think Kiley was on her best behaviour because I think we only had like 3 or 4 tangents. That's about it.
Yeah, for once that was actually fair. Like you were on very good behaviour today.
I drank a lot really fast, so I couldn't think. But yes, Mike, thank you so much for joining us. It was really good.
Thank you, Mike. I really appreciate it.
You.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, guys. Pleasure to meet you, Mags.
Take care, mate. Good to see you.
Oh, so good. That means our names are all wrong, but I don't care.
That's fine.
This is our banter moment.
Do you want to run through the chat whilst I'm
oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah, do that. I'm going to grab a drink from the fridge.
You do that.
What, from the Xbox fridge?
Yep. Nobody, what is it when they like pay bits to get Mags to drink?
Nice. You should do that.
Yeah.
I mean, that should be a requirement for our streams, but Jesus Christ, you'd be drunk by the end of it. Oh, wait, you were.
Wait, I already am.
You're not being paid to get drunk, but soon enough.
Yeah, might as well be.
You don't want to see me drunk on a stream. I did it 2 years ago, and I got through 2 bottles of Jack Daniels, and I could not stream the next day because I was that. Apparently, I left the stream on and fell asleep in the chair. That's how bad it was. I was that inebriated.
Wow.
I was. Thank you, Jesse. I was hammered. I fell asleep in the chair.
That is incredible.
And people stayed on and watched, which apparently was hilarious.
Oh,
look, apparently sleeping streams are quite a popular thing.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that is too funny. And yes, redeem was the dadgum word I was looking for.
Redemption.
Oh. Hello, buddy.
I was going to say, what's up with the dog's floppy leg there? It's like,
oh my gosh.
My little boy. This is my little boy Mojo, who is our mascot of the channel, but you don't always see him on the channel. But he's just literally woken up. He's been asleep behind me.
He's
so
Mojo.
Yeah, he's great.
I'm dying. Oh my gosh.
There you go. There we go. Jesse's just dropped the thing in. Thank you, Jesse. There's a little.
Oh, very nice.
Oh my gosh, he's freaking adorable. I'm dying.
He's great.
Oh my
How
god.
do you do, Mojo?
Oh, I want a dog so bad. So bad. Oh.
Would it be terrible to say I'm more of a cat person, but that is a cute dog.
Pete is a cat person.
His ears went up then when you said cats.
Oh my gosh! Well, anyway, I'll try to hit the highlights of chat while Pete does his thing. But chat went cray-cray, and also I can't stop looking at the dog. I love dogs so much. Oh my gosh. My heart is like, it's melting in my chest.
Good boy. Right, I'm gonna pop him down. Actually, do you want to sit there? Sit there, mate. Go
Oh
on,
my
just
gosh. Oh, I
Here we
want
go.
so bad. But Big Jess says Mags was a mess in that stream.
It was. I was so out of it. And it was actually recorded as my longest stream ever because I left it on. I think it was on for 6.5 hours.
Oh my gosh.
There's clips of it where I'm just not even putting sentences. I mean, I can't put a sentence together when I'm sober, but it's even worse.
That's too funny.
But yeah, that was bad. And I was so drunk that I was supposed to do a FIFA stream the next day. So no big loss, really.
Right. I was going to say.
But I couldn't. And then I got back on stream the next evening and I was still drunk.
Oh
I was
my
drunk
gosh.
24 hours later because I'd drunk that much.
That's heavy. That's heavy going. Oh,
So I've
wow.
not done that ever since. That was 2 summers ago. Not recreating that ever again anytime soon.
I have.
So that sounds like a normal Sunday for you, Kylie.
I was gonna say I have drank so much that I don't remember the last 30 minutes of various shows. I have to go back and watch it, and I'm like, oh, I said that. I did. I really did. But Sinjo says, but Kai's best behavior is going off topic. I know. I only went off topic like 3 times. So that's really good.
That's a new record for you, actually.
It is, actually. And yes, Sincho, animals are the best. They are. They are. I love animals everywhere. Even, sorry, Pete, but even I love spiders too.
Blech.
See?
Had one crawling around in my room not too long ago. Abandoned room.
They're so good for the
It was about the same time that I had COVID, so it gave me an excuse to sleep on the sofa.
Oh, poor Pete. Yeah, I know. Brent says going through chat is going to take a while. I'm only hitting the highlights. We had a wonderful chat. You guys were amazing. You came out. You did your
Thank you,
thing.
guys.
It was amazing.
Guys and girls, and also including MAGGs' followers as well, the Maglites or whatever you call them these days.
Yeah.
You know,
It's become a thing now, apparently.
Yeah, which I love.
all from our stream somehow. I don't know.
Yeah. Let's see. I'll do a highlight. Brent said, I understand that video creators need a more secluded, quiet area to do some content away from the crowds and noise. I also understand that anyone with a phone can claim to need the space, so some vetting is required. However, it sounds like TikTok took a large portion of the space and were overly selective. Yeah. Which, yes. I think that's kind of the bottom line, is that they were selective.
Everything that was said there.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go with that.
Absolutely. Let's see. It's weird going backwards because I'm getting like sentences out of order. Let's see. Kylie, are you gonna stream that again? Talking about Power Wash Simulator now that there is Back to the Future DLC. Okay, we're not gonna talk about it now. We're gonna talk about it next week. But you are gonna see me streaming a little bit more for a reason.
Yes, so I've had to keep some things quiet, so I was supposed to say to our guests beforehand, please don't say anything about what's going on, but you got the memo without me saying it.
And here's another one from Brent. I have good memories of playing the original Forza Horizon at a booth at an endurance race. Anytime I got bored, I would just go play the game for a bit. It was actually the full game, not a demo, because it released only a few weeks later. Right. Oh, I will say, Max was playing, was it Forza Motorsport. That was it. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, obviously I was watching a stream, but it looked beautiful.
Yeah. It was great. Really enjoyed that. That was last Thursday.
I tell you what, the time that I played it, I have some mild criticisms about the game in terms of its a few things. I can go over that in another next week probably.
I know Jesse, who's in chat, was playing it, and he thought it was a step up from number 7.
It probably was. I didn't play much of 7, but I was playing it on PC, and oh my god, 1440p with not a single frame drop below 60. It's incredibly well optimized even on PC.
Nice.
So very, very, very good job done by Turn 10 there, I think.
Jesse says Maglites, which is ironic, as a lot of us followers weigh a lot. Oh goodness, Cintra.
I was going to say that Maglites just weigh a lot generally. Even
they are heavy. That's true. Yeah. But Cintra says Power Wash Sim is the perfect opportunity for the pool stream you always wanted to do, the hot tub stream. I want to do a hot tub.
Oh hell no.
Kylie, I'll fly over to you and bring some bottles of wine.
We do not need to encourage this kind of behaviour. Nobody needs to see me with no shirt on.
Nobody ever wants to do a hot tub stream with me, and I don't know why.
All right, fine. Fine, if Mags is involved, I'm in.
Hey! There's going to be the 3 of us in hot tub, all with wine. It's going to be great. No. It's probably going to be the worst stream ever, but it'll be quality content.
More like the best.
I'll stick to the mocktails because I don't drink, but you know. I'm more than happy to stay fun because I could go to a pub and still have fun like I'm drunk.
Yeah, I mean that's very good, Pete, that you can do that. I can't, but it's good that you can.
Oh, yeah, there you go. I have done a hot tub stream, by the way. It
nice, bit of human soup.
Yeah. My ex-wife broke the hot tub and it sprayed water. There's a good clip of this, and it sprayed water and it just nuked the laptop and it killed the stream.
Oh no!
It was a 20-minute stream while it lasted.
Oh,
you know full well that is the kind of nonsense that we'll have to put up with as well, Kylie. You know full well you're going to break that stream.
Mine's a big old fancy hot tub.
I got an idea, right? We get a flatbed truck with a hot tub on the back of it, right?
Yes!
And then we go from pub to pub.
A pub crawl hot tub stream!
Yeah. I mean, let's be honest. If that requires us to go down the motorway at any point, I'm not sure the authorities are going to allow it.
I'm so in.
I'd gladly do it, but going 70 miles an hour down the motorway in a flatbed. That's going to be a disaster. You're going to get very freaking cold very quickly.
Oh, no way, man.
What are those 3 ice cubes doing on the back of that truck?
Covered in bugs.
Yeah, it'll be like Lotso from the end of Toy Story 3. It's like, better close your mouth.
Yes, exactly that. Oh, goodness. Oh, I hate to wrap this up. I know that Pete's got to work in the morning.
Yes, I do.
But this has been so much fun. I have enjoyed this very much.
I've really enjoyed this as well, and it's always a good laugh having Mike and Mags on. Mags always brings the energy. Yeah,
which is good because
when I'm being serious for a few moments, I was. Apologies, I did get a bit too.
No, we all were. We all were.
Look, honestly, I think that's the best thing, really, is actually for EGX to actually hear genuine, honest feedback about the show, so they can improve it for next year. Because I genuinely do enjoy EGX as a show.
Yeah, look, I'm going to put this out. As much as I've kind of trashed on it, I still had a great time for the 4 days. I stated this on Facebook. It was not a great gaming convention. It was an okay gaming convention. Will I be going next year? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll probably never get invited back as a guest, but I don't care. I'll still go and I'll still do my thing. But I'm not completely trashing it. I think the thing is, if you'd never been before, you would think it's amazing.
Right.
And I know people that went. I know someone who went to the 2021 one, had never been before, and that was probably one of the sparsest ones. And they said they had a whale of a time. That's cool, you know? But it's still not the event that it used to be back in the day.
Right.
And I think that's not just a sign of EGX, it's a sign of the gaming industry in general.
We didn't get to touch on that, and I wanted to. That's what she said. But I did want to talk about just the whole gaming industry, because we talk about E3 a lot on here, the death of E3, and we predicted it much like a lot of people did. The gaming industry is changing, and getting those larger AAA games, productions and companies in is more difficult.
I think it is, but then you look at other things, and obviously Gamescom was a roaring success in August. And what's interesting is obviously Repop have now backed out of E3 because they came in to try and save E3. But obviously EGX has been a bit but then they also run PAX East and PAX West,
which
out in America, and they were brilliant. But got absolutely no coverage whatsoever.
They never do. They don't actually.
I don't know why, but I know people who went and said it was amazing, and it was like what EGX used to be. And I was like, I'm kind of gutted that they can't recreate. Maybe that's just a sign of what's going on in the UK economy. Maybe I don't know. It's a tough one.
It is.
I just don't want them to stop dead. I think they just need. There's vast areas they need to improve. They need to keep going, but they need to listen to what people are telling them. And they don't seem to be doing that, and that's the issue.
Absolutely agree. Let's see. I don't know what OTK is. Nana, is that that's not Tokyo Game Show. That's TGS. I don't know what OTK is.
I actually am not sure myself. Sorry, I wish I knew.
Yeah. Oh, Brent, I won't read that one aloud, but we've got an interesting GOTY. It's gonna be different this year. Next week. Next week we'll talk about it.
Yeah,
Here's an interesting fact, Pete, that I found out.
Go for it.
Guess what Mag's Game of the Year was last year? Just guess. You'll never guess.
I'm trying to remember what even came out last year.
I'll give you a clue. It was at EGX last year. They were showcasing it at EGX last year.
I wasn't there last year.
Oh, that's
shit,
right. You
no.
weren't. Yeah. I forgot about that. It's a game you'll be quite familiar with.
That I'm familiar with.
Yeah. What about if I sang one of the songs from the trailer?
Look, it is currently nearly 10:30 and I'm in the throes of editing. I am so lost here.
Max, let them know what your Game of the Year was for last year.
It was Goat Simulator 3.
Oh, the game that I bought you for Christmas.
That was my Game of the Year last year as well.
Very good.
And nobody took me serious, and I was dead serious the whole time.
I loved it. It was seriously the best one I had last year.
Yeah, last year it was.
And yet you never streamed it, Kylie. You never streamed
I know. I needed to stream it. So Pete bought me the deluxe edition or whatever, and it came with a little stuffed goat, and he has a butthole. I don't know why, but I love it. And
which is utterly hilarious. I saw that as soon as they announced that, I ordered it straight away. I was like, I saw that plushie with the butthole, and I was like, that's so Kylie. That's a Christmas present.
Yeah, see, that's what you think. Oh, wow. Okay, no, but it's true. I do. I love it. It's adorable. It's in my car. Which my car, apparently, Pete, is also in Forza Motorsport.
Of course it is.
Yeah. So, that's interesting. But anyway, we are going to wrap it up, even though I don't want to, but it is, we are past the 3-hour mark. And as Cincho says, yeah, as Cincho says, it's 1:22 a.m. where he is. He's in Germany. Yeah. He's over in the German area. But oh yeah, we had a recent surge of German listeners, Cincho. I think we got shared on a forum our Gamescom coverage did. So hey,
nice.
That's cool. Yeah, I was like, okay. Yeah, it surged way up by 20 listens. But anyway, oh, you're not? I thought you were. Okay, well, I take it back then. Was not Mike speaking German to you last week? Oh, you are insane. Okay, yes.
Yeah.
That's my fault. Yes, I should have used brain power on that one.
Undercover in Georgia.
I've always wanted to go there. For people who don't know, yes, there is a country called Georgia. It's not in the U.S. I remember the first time.
I've heard it's very nice.
Yeah, I have too. I've heard the food is really good. That's all I care about is food. See, we didn't even get to talk about EGX's food. Anyway, we really are gonna wrap this up. Yes, Centro, the country, not the state. Yes, I'm one of the few Americans that know that is an actual country. But we've had a wonderful time here tonight. Thank you so much, chat. You've been freaking amazing. I was about to cuss right there. I could have though, because we're not on the podcast. But
that is true.
You guys have been effing amazing. And our guests have been wonderful. I want to thank Mike again when he listens to this again. Thank you so much, Mike, for joining us. But Mags has came back, which is amazing because, who wants to come back to this chaos? Thank you. I was going to say that.
Kylie, we've been coming back for 182 episodes.
Yeah, but we're the chaos creators, or at least I am anyway.
I feel like
fairly true.
I've been on the show 3 times this year.
I know. And Pete has a proposition for you later. Oh. That sounds a little, yeah.
That sounds a bit saucy.
It does sound a little saucy. I like it. But anyway, but you guys have been amazing. Oh wait, EGX food equals Excel food equals mediocre and massively overpriced. Isn't that correct? All food over there anyway.
So I'm doing the links, right? Just doing the links for everyone. I've just gone onto Miketendo's Facebook page and the intro video from 7 years ago. My God, he is a fresh face YouTuber.
Oh, how adorable.
Oh, it's so adorable. Bless him.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, so we really are going to wrap this up. Even though we don't want this party to end, but it has to. Of course, you can always join Mags' stream. He streams a lot.
Nearly every day.
Nearly. Yeah. Yeah. And
most weekdays, yeah.
Yeah. So go, check his Twitch stream out. And then, of course, we're here every Sunday. Well, we'll talk more about that next week. And I think that's going to do it.
It's like someone's dying.
I know. It sounds so, like, scary and ominous. I mean, it is a little bit, but it's also not. So join us for next week to find out the future of the show. That sounds so
I'm dying, everyone.
Dun, dun, dun,
and just ends.
I might not even make next week's episode of this rate.
Just goes black screen.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It'd be like the Windows XP rebooting stuff.
Oh, I miss XP. Anyway, thank you guys so much for joining us for this 3-hour stream. Yeah, let's see how good this does on YouTube. Yeah.
Badly. Very badly.
It'd be better than anything I put out on YouTube, let's face it.
We haven't been doing well the last few weeks. I don't know. I think the algorithm's changed again because it does that ever so often. Ugh.
But if it makes you feel better, I haven't been doing well on YouTube for 3 years, so there you go. So.
I mean, we've only just started doing YouTube not too long ago, to be fair. So
about a year ago,
something like that. Yeah, and we do
closer
need
to 2 years, maybe closer to 2 years now.
We need to do more with it, to be honest. So
do we?
No, we were discussing this earlier. There are plans. Yeah. There are plans to change some of the stuff with it. So we'll discuss all that in the future.
Yeah, but anyway. Thank you so much to our chat. You guys have been amazing. Thank you so much again to Mags, who's also always amazing. And thanks, Pete.
You're awesome, dude. Thanks for coming on again. Like, also got to say thanks for putting up with my sorry ass at EGX as well. It was. I'm joking. I'm doing self-deprecating here. You know.
No, it was so good to see you again because obviously we only met at format and then you were there.
And it was very brief at format as well because you were chatting to everybody. So.
But we got to speak on the Saturday, and then the bonus was I bumped into you again on the Sunday.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, twice in 2 separate occasions without even realising it. It was quite funny. But yeah, it was nice meeting some of your community as well because you know, especially Amy was there and she was really nice as well. Yeah. Although she didn't say a lot, I guess that's just normal for what she's like anyway.
Pretty much Amy,
yeah. Fine.
Yeah,
but she was really nice, and a couple of the people that you spoke to were all very nice as well.
Yeah, Will, who was in Lord Carrot Top, who was in earlier.
Oh, nice, yeah.
Yeah, that's who you met.
Oh, amazing, yeah. Sorry, I didn't recognise him.
No, it's all right. He's recently just changed his name this week.
Oh, so, right, okay.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
Like, if you're still watching, cheers for that. Throw me off.
And yeah, I will say this. I do apologize. When first Jesse says Amy was nice, obviously wasn't speaking to me or my. Oh goodness. No, that was the first thing Pete had to say. But I am sorry that I didn't get to all of chat. It was just a very busy stream.
Yeah.
But you guys are still amazing.
Yeah, that's the thing is we always just we just like to focus on the episode itself. If there's anything that comes up in chat, we tend to deal with it then. We probably should explain that better at the beginning of the show.
Yeah. Okay. Wow, we've been saying goodbye for like 10 minutes. So
I mean, do you remember those episodes where you got so distracted by chat all the time? In fact, one of the episodes was called Distracted by Chat.
Yes. They keep winding me up, and I just keep like falling for it, hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah, they went fishing that day, and they caught a large bass every time.
They were baiting me. They were masturbators.
Oh.
Yes, thank you.
Even Mojo disapproved of that joke. He's got his head down. He's like, oh.
Oh no! But anyway, yes, that got
bit late, but I know. Sorry, I had to try and find the chat again.
Oh my goodness. Okay, we're wrapping this up. Thank you guys again for the millionth time for joining us, and join us again next week, same bat time, same bat channel, where you will learn the future of the show. Bum bum bum.
Spoiler alert: I am dying. No, not really.
No, he's not. Don't. He's not. It's great things. How about I put that? I'll put a positive spin on it. It is.
Yeah, fine. It's good. Yeah,
it's good things. Good. It's good things.
Yes.
Yes, and it includes Mags every time. So.
Jesus.
Yeah, how's your schedule for Sunday nights?
5-hour streams every time.
What do you reckon, Mojo? Should I just put Mojo on the camera?
I was gonna say, just put him on. That does it. That
Okay.
works. Oh.
Centro's called it the Snyder Cut.
Look at it. Oh my god.
The Snyder Cut.
Oh my gosh.
So what is this one? The David Ayer cut then? This near 3-hour show.
Oh goodness, I'm the Joker, baby. I gotta go watch Gotham.
What with your metal grill?
Yes, exactly. Okay, yeah, okay. Slight tangent. I know what they were trying to do with Jared Leto. I really do, but they didn't execute it perfectly. They shouldn't have erased his eyebrows or shaved off his eyebrows.
I'm going to be honest. I don't think Jared Leto knew what he was doing with Jared Leto.
That's probably true. But anyway, yeah. So I'm gonna wrap.
I mean, anytime you sent a used condom to Margot Robbie, you know, probably not the best thing to do in the world, is it?
I mean. Anyway, but we'll talk to you guys next week. I promise. Alfred steals the show. Yes. Okay. So yeah.
Woo.
Yeah. Yes. Who did you know? And I'm probably sure you guys, all of you guys are British, so you probably already knew this. But his dad was Doctor Who.
Yeah.
That was crazy because I was like, why does this guy look so familiar? And I looked at him. I was like, oh, well, because he has his exact dad's eyes and he looks exactly like his father. Yeah, who is Doctor Who. Anyway, he is amazing, and they thought about doing like an Alfred spinoff. Which I get why, you know.
They did, and yet
it tanked, and they didn't even use the same characters, same actors or anything.
Oh, see, okay, that's the one thing I do gotta say about Gotham. I promise we really are gonna wrap this up. The cast of Gotham is so on point.
It's very good.
Yep.
I agree with Jack Tendo there. The people that played Penguin and Riddler.
Oh, Penguin is my favorite. He so overacts everything, and it's like perfect. It's just campy, just the right level of camp for Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, yes, season.
So we're gonna wrap this up then.
Let's wrap this up. Okay, thank you guys so much for joining us. You guys are amazing. We are out of here. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.